Welcome back to the PokerStars Arena and the third week of the Spring Championship of Online Poker 2021. More cards up coverage tonight and more cards to look at. Yes, it's the first of our Omaha streams. We're bringing you the final table of the 5K PLO 6 Max High Roller. Hello everyone, I'm James Hartigan alongside Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies, and welcome to Omaholics Anonymous.
So, Joey, 4 hold cards. Double the fun or double the confusion?
I honestly, I thought this was a three hole card game, so I guess probably the latter.
Well, plenty happened on Saturday and Sunday. Lots to catch up on. Let's have a look at the latest stat tracker. And we're at the stage with 185 games in the books. Very soon, there will be more than 1 million entries across this series. Prize money is close to exceeding $70 million. And we have now reached a situation where more than $10 million has been paid to winners. Well, let's delve a little deeper into the weekend's results with our Scoop correspondent. He's got the looks, he's got the brains, he's Howard Swains. And Howard, let's start with Makita Bodziakovsky. We've seen him a few times in the last couple of weeks, and we noted that he came into this series without a Scoop title.
He did, yeah. Maybe that's a little strange, but he doesn't play all that much. He's very busy on the super high roller circuit, obviously. But anyway, now he does have one, because on Saturday night he won a 2K turbo. That was worth 70K. You saw him finish second to João Vieira earlier on in the week for much more money than that. But yeah, Fish 2013, as Bodziakowski plays on PokerStars, now has a Scoop title.
Howard, I was messing around on Twitch on Sunday, and what did I see but Spraggy playing a 5K? Was that a graphical error?
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But no, and he actually came 12th in it as well. So made the money, won 19K. 8K of that came in bounties, and he knocked out Tim Adams. He knocked out Onyen Dimov. It was a great stream. There was some back and forth with Lex, who was on his table for a while. So yeah, congratulations to Spraggy, 12th in a 5K.
But not a final table, though. So which non-Spraggy players are at the final table of that one, which, of course, does not include Spraggy?
Well, Artem Metasaurian, who knocked out Spraggy, he's there. Dario Sammartino's there. Tejan Mulder's there. And Patrick Leonard is also there. And he also won a Scoop title last night. That's the 4th of his career, first of this series. And he won the 1K afternoon deep stack for 61K, as well as getting through to the final table of the 5K.
Oh, so Patrick Leonard winning another Scoop. Briefly, Howard, how has that affected the player of the series standings?
Well, Jussi Nevanlina still leads the overall, but Patrick Leonard now leapfrogs Matson and Aston on the high leaderboard, but it's getting tighter at the top. So Patrick Leonard's breathing down Jussi's neck.
It is going to go the distance as we enter the final few days of Scoop 2021. I say final few days. We've still got a week and a half to go. And that means, Howard, we get to talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks for now.
Look forward to it. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
And of course, we will keep tabs on that 5K No Limit Hold'em final table, but our primary attention will be on the 5K PLO High Roller. And we have a familiar name at the top of the leaderboard, a player who won an EPT title more than 16 years ago. It's Noah Exclusive Boken. He's got 121 bigs. Plenty of shallow stacks here, though, including a couple of players in the danger zone.
Danger zone.
And let's look at the payouts with 7 players remaining. Now we're at the final table. Everyone has locked up at least 33 grand, nearly 100K for third, more than 120K for the runner-up, more than $157,000 for the winner of 58 High. Now, obviously, we're going to need some PLO expertise to make this stream work. So please welcome Mr. Joey Ingram to the PokerStars Arena. Great to have you with us, Joey. The other Joe, Stapleton, described you as the ultimate PLO hype man, and here you are.
Listen, boys, it's great to see you too. I know you two have been working very, very hard. My man Stapes just tweeted out, he said he just washed his face for the first time. Stapes, very relatable. I just started washing my face about 2 weeks ago, so I get what you're saying, right? Get out of the house, move around a little bit, put some, you know, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you, man.
I don't recommend it.
So here we go. Blinds 25,000, 50,000. Just 3 minutes left on this level from where things were left on Saturday. Day one was on Saturday. They then took a day off for Sunday and are now playing it off tonight.
Oh, cool. Yeah, this is shout out to everybody in the chat. I see a lot of people out there. What's going on, guys? Nice to see you here. Miss Leo, Panda Poker. Yeah, watching Potlam in Omaha. So I've been doing a lot of Texas Hold'em, heads up Nolan Hold'em play and commentary and study, but I've also been playing a lot of PLO cash. So PLO tournaments, it's crazy how big these things have gotten now, because before PokerStars didn't really ever used to do much tournaments for PLO. No real site did. And now we have a $750,000 prize pool for a $5,000 buy-in. That's pretty incredible from where we've come a few years ago. So this is pretty cool to see, man. It's a big prize pool, and we got exclusive. He's a PokerStars legend, a poker legend, and as you can see, he's raising every hand because he's got the chip lead, and that's what you can do when you're the chip leader in these PLO tournaments. Is you can put a lot of pressure on the short stacks. So he's in a real good spot right now.
Yeah, pretty significant chip lead for Noah Boken, who already has 2 Scoop titles and 4 WCOOP titles. I should point out, Joey, of course, you're going to be with us next week as well when we do the 10K PLO main event. I mean, you talk about a $5,000 buy-in PLO event, a $10,000 buy-in main event should be pretty exciting.
What's the guarantee on that, James?
It's got to be at least $1 million, right?
We're gonna
maybe one of our trusty people in the back can check. But I imagine it'll be bigger than this event, so it's probably going to be a pretty big first place. Might even be bigger than $1 million.
I've got a question, Joe, for you about PLO tournaments in general. As far as big blinds are concerned, right? We know like 20 big blinds is like when you start approaching shove fold mode in a Hold'em tournament. Also, you know, if we have like a 20 big blind average, we know it's going to play pretty quickly. Do those same sorts of things apply to PLO tournaments as far as like how fast we should be playing, how deep someone is stacked based on the number of blinds they have?
What do you mean? Can you like how fast the game might move in terms of how
like,
fast
example,
we might see some of these?
You know, we've got what is this, a 7-handed final table here? We can tell based on the stack sizes about how long it would take to play out if we were playing Hold'em. I want to know, does that same rule apply to Omaha? Does it play faster, slower, about the same?
That's a good question, Joe. I haven't watched. I mean, I've only watched maybe 100 PLO tournaments before, and I played a bunch, but there just really hasn't been a ton of PLO tournaments to even play, to get a big sample size to know in that situation. It does seem like these. Yeah. And it's not like no Hold'em. There's been like, you know, you guys done like a trillion PLO like Hold'em tournaments on the site, so it's like, right, you know, you've seen these things play out, but PLO, it's just not as popular of a game at the tournament format specifically. So I don't think there's like a set time, a normal time for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, 1.25 million, 1,250,000 is the guarantee on the $10,000 buy-in Pot Limit Omaha main event at the end of this series.
Wow. Yeah, I imagine that the PLO is only going to get more and more popular too. Yeah.
Just want to name check a couple of the other players who've made this final table. Dante Goya, a player who's got a couple of WCOOP wins, and Elis Parsonen, E27, who we've seen a few times. I mean, if we're doing the final table of a PLO event, there has to be at least one Finn. I think it's in the rules of the game. And here is our hashtag fun fact of the day. Elis Parsonen's favorite drink is a vodka soda.
Classic. Low-cal, keto-friendly.
Yeah, shout out to Elis. Elis is one of the top PLO players in the world. Cash games at these tournaments. He seems to always show up at the hardest fields of PLO tournaments against the best players. So that guy is, I think he's definitely at the top of his game. Terror 77727, longtime PLO cash game player, PLO tournament player as well too. I think he either got second place to Gene's 89 in a 25K at the World Series before. And yeah, he's been around for a very long time, crushing the high stakes. And you can see here, Rue raised under the gun, Ace King 9-9. So Rue is second in chips. And that means that Exclusive is going to be able to put a lot of pressure on him, potentially, on a lot of boards. And yeah, Rue decided not to continue, even though he had the overpair with the 2-pair there. He laid that one down.
Folded the best hand, and now we have hit the 30-60 blind level, and now we are at the final table. Now that we have reached the final 7 players, blind levels have been extended to 30 minutes. So a decent amount of play in this, although it is very much a case of the have and the have-nots.
Yeah, I'm taking a look around here. So we got 2 10 big blind stacks with You So Got Pwned and Terror. And then we got, Dante, he's got 1.2, so he's got about 20 big blinds. Yeah, it's going to be, it'll probably be pretty passive, I imagine, until one of these short stacks gets out. So I imagine that Exclusive can raise a lot of hands. If he folds, Rue can play a lot of hands. And then these other guys are just going to hope to pick up a hand or maybe steal some blinds or, just hope that someone else goes out and they can ladder up a little bit. Ace, King, 9, Jack for Exclusive. Very good hand, strong hand. Nut suit. These are the kind of hands you want to be playing. And then Queen, 8, 9. Yeah, you can see he kind of laid that one down, single suited. Could have considered playing that with this blind this deep, but not surprised to see him lay it down. Looks like Exclusive's going with a 3x raise size pre-flop. It's a big flop for Stoimanu.
Yeah, what do we know about Stoimanu? Not a Scoop champion. Best result to date was in last year's series, an 18th place finish in a 2K PLO event.
I see a bit of a collision brewing here, guys.
You see that, Stapes? We got aces versus kings. You so got pwned is going to be in pretty good shape, but EE27 runs like God, and the guy's got double suited kings, so not the guy I'd ever want to be all in with for my tournament life.
The result has been predicted. Well, ace is still ahead, and good, and that is going to be a double up for
they both pick up the flush.
You so got pwned, and that means that Ellis is now one of the shorter stacks along with Terra.
I might have jinxed him a little bit there, guys. How's the commentary been going for you two? I see you've been working hard. The show looks nice. I see you guys did a little production upgrades in this introduction since the last time I've seen you on here. So how you guys been doing?
Well, this is week 3 for us. The fourth and final week is only 3 days, fortunately. We've passed the halfway point, so we've got over the hump. It's been fun. Look, there are 306 tournaments running during Scoop. That's 102 events with 3 different buy-in tiers. And obviously, we can only shine the spotlight on a small percentage. And what we chose to do is really showcase the high rollers. It's been mostly 5K, 10Ks, and the 25K super high roller that we focused on. We've seen a lot of the same players. We've seen C. Darwin make multiple final tables. We've been following the narrative of players like João Vieira, who had like a first and a second in the same night. So it's been fun. We've been treated to some world-class poker. In a way, this is a nice break for us tonight to do something a bit different, and it will be the same next week when we do the PLO main event. Tomorrow, we're also going to do something a bit different. We're going to cover one of the low buy-in events. The Sunday Million this week was a $55 special edition, and so that's what we're going to be streaming tomorrow. Variety being the spice of life.
What about you, Joe? You've been enjoying yourself out here? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm glad that you've mentioned how hard we've been working, because I just think it's kind of messed up that people will go outside and they'll clap for like nurses and frontline workers, but not for poker commentators. I think that's kind of like we have been working very hard over the last year as well. Just putting it out there.
And this is going to be another double up, full house for Terra. And a little bit of a dent in Exclusive stack.
Exclusive there with the Queen 3-3-10. I mean, putting a lot of pressure on Terra. Terra's basically going to need a 9 to be able to go with it there. And unfortunately for Exclusive, he did have the 9, so double up there. So now we can see 2 players double up. So now we got 2 players. By the way, if you guys don't know Pot Limit Omaha, it's called the Great Game of Pot Limit Omaha. You get 4 cards instead of 2. You have to use 2 cards in your hand and 3 cards on the board. It's not like Hold'em where you can use 1 card in your hand. So if you have like a ace-7 offsuit, you have ace diamonds, 4 diamonds on the board, you got a nut flush. In this game, you got to use 2 cards. So even if you have 1 diamond in your hand in that situation, you don't have a flush. So you got to use 2 cards in your hand. So if you're new, as they've said, they've been doing a lot of Hold'em. This is Pot Limit Omaha, 4 cards, the great game. I've been playing this game for about the past 10 years straight, and with some Hold'em mixed in sparingly in between, and Hold'em before that. But this is a little different game, but it's a lot of fun. You get to play a lot of hands. You get to play a lot of cards, and this is the tournament version of it. So this is a little different, but it's still a lot of fun. It's a different way to play, and try it out if you haven't tried it out before. So bam, there we go. Got that out of the way.
Joe, you said you've been playing Omaha for the last 10 years. When is the last time you messed up, like knowing, like in your head, using only one card?
Oh, never.
Never.
I thought you were going to say last week.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Playing. No, man, I don't think so. Maybe you misread your hand, but you never. That's a really good question, actually. Yeah, I'd be curious to see other people. No, I don't feel like, maybe when I get, sometimes I go out here in Vegas to T2 headquarters, and I'll go play at the card rooms down the street. And sometimes you might take a few edibles to go play. And in that situation, you might not be able to like pay attention to see the cards. So that's the only time something like that would have happened anytime recently, but it doesn't happen very often. No. You remember when you played, Joe? Didn't you play with us down in? Didn't you play down in at Run It Up? Didn't you play a little bit with us?
I did. I found it very frustrating at first, and instead of going back to my room like I should have, I went to the ATM, and then I came back and I ran up quite a stack. Once again, proving that being irresponsible is almost it works out for me.
It happens, buddy. It happens. Hope you're doing well, buddy. It's nice to see you again, Joe.
Good to see you, friend.
Yeah, chat. Nice to see you guys in the chat out there, man. Rakasha 26, who I know here a lot, says, "Do you like 08?" So 08 specifically, not as much. No, not as much. No.
Oh,
so here we go. This is interesting here. Yeah. Well, I guess it won't be interesting. Top and bottom pairs for Elias. Top pair, top kicker for exclusive. So you need a king,
and
ace, or a 7.
Too.
Yeah.
and just like that, we get another short stack double up. So that is 3 short stacks that have been at risk, all of whom have doubled up. Still 7-handed at this final table. I love the fact that you have officially changed the name of the variant to the Great Game of Omaha. Is that now kind of like, you got a little like registered trademark against that?
The Great Game of Omaha. Listen, I don't know. I just started saying it a few years back, and to me, it's always been the great game. I've loved playing it, so I just kind of went with that. Yeah.
The guy's a branding wizard. You got to give him that.
Everyone else that loves it. When you play it, you love it. Like when you get to really learn how to play the game, you're like, oh, this is really fun, right? When you start to know how to do it, and you start to really own people, and you start to have a good time, and you start to be, even if you don't win, at least you get to play a lot of hands. You know, at Hold'em, you got to fold. So this game, you get to play a lot of hands, see a lot of action. This guy exclusive is a crazy guy, man. I like this guy's style.
And the best thing about it is if you get all your chips in, unlike in Hold'em, where sometimes you can be like, 20%, 15%. In Pot Omaha, normally you've got around 45 to 50% equity. So happy days.
Yeah, I mean, the equities do run a lot closer, and that's a big thing to remember about PLO is that the equities in your hands pre-flop are going to run really close. And what that means is that in Hold'em, if you have aces versus 3s, you're what, like 82% favorite. So you get all in pre-flop, you're 82% favorite. In PLO, you're never getting in as an 80% favorite pre-flop. So the best you might see, rarely, and you wouldn't probably get in one of those hands if they were that bad where you're that dominated, but maybe 63%, 65% at best. Whereas in that last hand, you could see the two players were 49 and 51. So you're going to see a lot more situations. It was like this. You see 62% versus 37%. It looks like my man Rue's got a pretty bad hand with that queen 8-7 deuce, but in actuality, it's not the hot and cold equity, we call it, the equities pre-flop. It's not that bad. It's just that the playability in those hands is really bad. So what you do is you end up with the queen 7-8 deuce. You flop a marginal 7-8. You don't have a very strong hand. So you're going to lose a lot of money oftentimes on post flop, which is why you don't necessarily want to be tricked and say, okay, the equities run close, I can play these hands. Oftentimes, a lot of those hands don't have much, they're going to get you in a lot of trouble. So you got to remember that too.
So it's just kind of crazy that everyone describes Omaha as a game where like you're never that far behind, but if you're good at it, you're a way bigger favorite than in Hold'em, which is kind of counterintuitive.
Well, why they say that, Joe, is that post-flop, what you're going to see is a lot of players are going to make very big mistakes post-flop. So pre-flop, they kind of play a marginal hand that compounds to an even bigger mistake post-flop. So the equities kind of run close pre-flop. And then in the big spots, like you're going to see top set versus straight draw and a flush draw, and you're going to see top sets only like 50-something% favorite, right? And you're like, okay, the equities run close in those situations. But oftentimes against worse players, you can get it in where you're just massively favorite against these players because they're overvaluing marginal two pairs, marginal flush draws, and you're typically going to have a pretty strong hand when you get in, and they're going to get in a lot of money against you in a bad shape. So that's why you see a lot of people
sometimes
say that.
They think they have a straight when they didn't because they forgot they had to play two cards.
Yeah, that's definitely happened before. That's happened a few times. Yeah, JBCD says PLO games are so much softer. No.
Well, we've continued to see Noah Bokan open a lot of hands and continue to play aggressively. Still has pretty dominant chip lead with 5.3 million. It's the second biggest stack opening here, though. Route 400. And it's raise and take it.
Yeah, Jojo said, Mr. Joey, I have a question. When raising pre, are we always potting or 2.5x? I think it's a great question. So you're sort of, we haven't really, from what I've seen, we haven't decided on what a standard is yet. You're going to see some people who are going to min raise. Some people are going to 2.5. Some people are 3xing here. Some people are going to pot it. So there really isn't an established size once again. And I think all this is coming, kind of like it's been coming to Hold'em for a long time. Eventually it'll start to come to PLO where people like, programs come out and they start to tell us more information, and then we make better decisions based on the information the programs are telling us. So that's just not as popular at PLO specifically yet as it is at Hold'em, where everyone has a program now and there's a bunch of different information out there that makes it easy to sort of understand these things and what you should be doing in situations. So PLO, it's a little bit less, it's just not as solved right now. And there are people who do know these answers, but they're just not as widespread. One, because the game's not that popular, and two, because that information isn't really out there easily to find for the average player quite yet.
So I see Catman Joe tried to ask a question in Finnish, not realizing that the rules of the channel are English only. I'm going to say, Catman Joe, if you have a legitimate question, every Finnish person I've ever met speaks better English than most native English speakers, so I'm sure you can ask the question in English and have it addressed on the stream.
I mean, who did he think was going to answer it even? Like, I understand you don't know it's against the rules, but like, what about us? Is it because Joe likes pot limit, you assume he speaks Finnish?
Having spent so much time around some of the world's best Omaha players, you must obviously have learned Finnish. That's the kind of...
There's just no way anyone loves Omaha as much as Joe Ingram and doesn't speak Finnish, I guess, is the rationale there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Finnish is really hard. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't even, I wouldn't even want to try to start learning Finnish, but yeah, well, some of those guys speak pretty well English. I've had on my podcast before, and then some, I guess kind of hit and miss. Most countries are probably like that.
Generally speaking, they speak very good English, but a lot of them don't like speaking. But it's not that they can't, it's just they don't want to.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. Good point. Yeah, real good point. It's true. So Rue here has ace-9, 10-8, nut suit. Pretty decent hand on the big blind. Definitely worth defending. King 3 deuce. Exclusive can bet pretty small here. Yeah. Checks back. Interesting.
Route 400, 0% equity on the turn.
Yeah, I think Noah's just kind of going to try to get a showdown here after he checks back this flop. Probably could check back the flop or bet the flop. Either way, most likely is going to be pretty, maybe not. Maybe do more checking than betting. And then Rue has to decide if he wants to turn his hand to a bluff. He's got no blockers. Ideally, if you're going to start thinking about maybe bluffing there with Rue's hand, you want to have at least one club in your hand. And yeah, sometimes that's how these hands play out. You just give up basic hands. That's it.
Obviously, Joey, a few people...
Hand,
yeah, a few people looking to pick up some basic strategies, some basic tips. What, in your opinion, is the best starting hand in Omaha? I know that there is kind of a conflict of opinions on this, but from your experience and in your opinion, what do you think is the premium holding to have?
Yeah, premium holdings are going to be those high pair, double suited type hands like ace, ace, theoretically, right? Ace, ace, king, king, ace, ace, jack 10, double suited are some of the strongest hands. And then you kind of go down from there and say ace, ace, king 10, ace, ace, king, queen. Those are the kind of hands that in general are going to be the strongest hands at the game. I mean, some people might, I guess some of the aces are going to be better than some of those hands. So at some point in time, it stops being aces and it kind of starts being these higher rundowns. So the worse aces you have kind of goes down from there. So like a common mistake you're going to see a lot of players make is that they overvalue pocket aces. So you're going to see them commit way too much money with just real crappy aces, like an ace, ace, 8 deuce with no suit. They're putting a lot of money, very multi-way, and then they talk about how bad they run when a real bad hand beats them later on. So you see that happen often, and and that happens in those live games. That's live games where it's a little crazier. Online at reasonable stakes, you aren't going to see too much of that kind of happening right now. But at lower stakes with just inexperienced players, they're going to beat you with all kind of bullshit, and you got to be able to take it. And it hurts. It hurts bad when you lose to some of these hands because you're just like, God, I sat around, I waited for a hand, and what happened here? So that happens a lot at
That's
PLO,
when I quit.
especially when you start.
The first time that
The
first time that happened to me, I quit PLO, but I was back about 5 minutes later as soon as I remembered my pin.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a fun game. It brings you back in, and you see everyone else kind of playing crazy, so it gives you the perception that if you play that crazy as well, you potentially win because you saw them win. But it's not always the case. Just like in Hold'em, it's not always the case. Remember in PLO. So nut flush draw here for Stoyamanu. I wonder who's going to play. Good batter check. Yeah, just pots it. Makes most sense. Maximizes fold equity. Sometimes he gets it in against a draw he dominates. Maybe a worse flush draw with a pair. Maybe folds out some aces occasionally.
Good point made by Shine My Shoe.
Yeah.
So I was just going to quickly comment on what Shine My Shoe said in chat, which is that Noah Boken doesn't even grind poker anymore. He just shows up for the major series like WCOOP and Scoop, and yet proves that he's still got it, right? Here he is at another final table with the chip lead, vying for another Scoop title.
He might be the world's best boomer poker player.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're already a great player, and when you play these tournaments, like anyone can get lucky. The variance is high, and I think that when you're a really great player and you're great at tournaments and great at different formats, like you can take some time off and come back and play at tournaments and kind of pick it back up pretty. I wouldn't say easily, but for certain players, they can pick it back up pretty easily. So, not surprised to see that somebody that can have that much success, and yeah.
Dante Goya going for it.
So right now it is You So Got Pwned who is the shortest stack at this final table. We're 20 minutes into this level and we've seen a few double ups, but no eliminations so far.
Yeah, Dog for Real though says, why are people folding these good rundowns? Yeah, I think the hands that you might be thinking about, it's because of ICM and the different stack sizes. So most of these players are just going to be playing very, very tight in general. So they're only going to be playing more top of the range at this point in time because the stacks are so short, or if they're in late position. So that's why you're going to see them folding some hands that maybe in a cash game they might open, but in this specific format, they're not going to open. So that's sort of what you're seeing right there. And then sometimes you're going to see players play really tight and you're going to be confused like, wow, they're playing really tight. But in actuality, you're supposed to play really tight. So that's why you might see them fold some hands that you say like, oh, why would he fold Queen Jack 10-9? It's because like, even if you do open that, it might be on the cusp of opening where it might not be very good and it could be bad. And a lot of these players, from what I've seen in watching these tournaments, is that there's certain players who just decide to play on the total side of caution and lay hands like that down.
Well, guys, we've got to stick some Boney M on the record player and page Giorgio Moroder because we got a disco. Ellis Parsonen has become disconnected from the interwebs and has a couple of minutes to get back online.
So what happens if he doesn't come back? Just blinds
We
out.
got to get one of those, animations of like a disco ball that drops down, and then we do like a dance party during the disconnects, like a disco sort of to fill the time.
Well, I can't promise you that we can make it happen by the end of Scoop 2021, but maybe by the next online series, we'll do our best to make. I mean, it feels weird.
Let's make something terrible into something fun.
Okay, yeah. We've done that before, that's for sure. Yeah, just to answer your question, Joey, I mean, if he's not able to restore his connection, and it looks like he might be back online now.
Yeah, it looks back.
Yeah. Generally speaking, we do see very good sportsmanship at this level, and the other players will often tank to allow them extra time to get back online. What you don't see is people rapidly raising to try and steal their blinds.
That's what I would do.
That makes.
But,
Yeah, we've seen some infamous moments where like people disconnected. Didn't Vanessa Cade, right? She had a big disconnect. Someone disconnected at her final table, 3-handed, and she, right? Didn't something happen with that where they played slow, or what was the deal with that?
That was at her suggestion.
Yeah, she was basically saying, let's just give a couple of minutes for this guy to get back. And again, they just basically tank folded until this third player could get back in the game.
Yeah, wow. A big spot to be in, that Sunday Million that she was a part of. So
yeah,
interesting hand here. Noah does not 3-bet the Ace King 8-9 pre-flop double suited, just calls the open, and then Elis bets the turn. Yeah, maybe he thinks that Noah might just bet the flop. If Noah had a jack or had a flush draw or had a hand he could continue with, he would just bet the flop himself. So he decides to stab with the pocket nines and takes it down. So blind levels are 30 minutes, right, guys?
Yeah.
Has there been a showdown?
That is actually a very good question.
Showdown? Has there been an showdown?
Other than the all-in hands, I don't think so.
Right.
Yes, it's pretty normal you're going to see for PLO tournaments. Just a bunch of, nothing really going down. Players playing relatively conservative. And like I said, there's praying for someone else to get knocked out here. It's just survival of the fittest at this point. You're just trying to stay alive, ladder up a little bit, maybe get a double up, and really just stick around. And you can see Rue here is going to limp in. So we see this happen at PLO tournaments as well, where some players actually limp as well. So you'll see limp, you see min raise, you see 3x, you see pot, like you kind of see all these strategies. So
Ooh, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5. That someone does have a straight.
That's the straight, but still only has 50% equity in this four-way pot.
Yeah, it's going to fold back to Rue, and Rue has the open and straight draw. He has the backdoor club draw, and the straight draw is to the nuts. So I do think he's going to continue here. He's going to hope for a queen, hope for a 7. If a queen comes, oh, he just lays it down. Nice hand. Okay. So yeah, and there he's playing pretty tight. Yeah. I would think to that bet size. Yeah. Does anybody in the chat play PLO, by the way, guys? I see a bunch of people out there. The DU. Fat Memerita. Rue's limping since exclusive is in the big blind, right? Plus a good distance ahead of third in chips. Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe he's limping. He doesn't want to raise and get 3-bet by exclusive and end up getting himself into a tough spot. So instead of potentially getting in that situation, he decides to start limping with some hands. That would make sense, yeah.
Okay, we're going to a flop here. Queen's still good.
Yeah, not a good flop for Elis. He's got a backdoor straight draw and backdoor flush draw and the overpair. It's going to hit a lot of terror's range out of the big blind. A lot of times your opponent's going to have some sort of piece of this board with a pair, straight draw. Now, once check back, Terror has a pretty weak hand, bottom pair. He's going to hope to improve to an ace, king, queen on the river, and Elis is going to hope for a heart. He checks back again. So now his range is very weak. The Terror going to want to be bluffing with some hands. Might decide to bluff with this hand. I'm curious to see what size he goes with if he does bet.
Okay, we're going to go near enough half pot.
You know, Elis has to wonder what would he be betting half pot with. He's going to be betting a lot of 2 pairs for value there, like a 10-8, maybe 10-7. Obviously, any straight. He's going to have some bluffs as well, too, but then goes back to what I talked about, which would be what would the bluffs be in that situation. So when you're Terry, you got to start finding some bluffs and turning some of your hands like that, your bottom pairs with nothing else to go with it, turning them into bluffs. Might be a place to start building your range at.
Dante Goya opens here. Won 2 WCOOP titles during last year's World Championship of Online Poker.
Yeah, Balu says, I'll play a PLO event at the World Series of Poker this year. Yeah, I'm excited for World Series. It just got announced again. So live poker
He's definitely excited for you to play your first PLO event.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
If people are coming out to play their first PLO event this year, Joey Ingram is extra excited to have you.
Absolutely, yeah. Listen, come on out. Come on out, guys. Come play.
Bring
Joe,
money.
you want in? You going to play one? Or yeah, maybe Joe gets in too.
It's unlikely, but who knows what late fall will have in store for me.
So Rue here, going real weird with the min check raise. I mean, yeah, not a common play right there. If you're just wondering what the hell has happened there, Queen 4-4 deuce, Queen high flush draw, the min raise. I haven't seen that play very often, but it took it down. So maybe I guess Dante's going to be playing pretty snug. What'll he be continuing there with, like his trips, a 10 flush draws? I don't know, man. Seems like questionable play, but it did get the job done. And he does have a little bit of backup to go with it with the flush draw, and potentially can hit a 4 as well, the hidden full house. Now you can see Rue's going to limp in the small blind. We see a lot of players limp in the small blind in cash in tournaments. It's a very common strategy a lot of people use. So not sure where the meta is in Hold'em right now. If players are James and Joe, are players limping a lot of small blind versus big blind still, or have most of the better players
it's still quite common.
been raising most of the time?
It's still quite common.
Okay. So now Rue has 2 pair, kings and jacks. He might continue one street here. Probably going to continue all your pairs above a 6, any king and any flush draw.
Joe, I've noticed we're about 30 minutes into this, and I haven't heard mention of blockers even once. Is that because they're not real?
No. I mean, most of the great players right now are absolutely in love with blockers, and blockers are actually becoming a thing people in Texas Hold'em love as well too. So blockers are very real. You need to take them into account for sure. And yeah, but we haven't really gotten to many spots where we got to necessarily talk about it that much.
For the record, I do believe in Omaha blockers.
Our first Flaming Barrier of the evening just made an appearance. The ace on the river, but didn't change the result. And we can see that So Got Pwned has now dropped down to 840k. Blinds are going to be going up to 3570 in 1 minute.
Yeah, so Broken Hearts, at any particular reason we can't see the fold cards like in Hold'em streams?
It's an editorial decision, to be brutally honest with you. It is quite a lot to take in if you have all 7 players with all the cards on the screen all the time. I think we have to concede, and I know there'll be people who really want to see what's been folded, but for people who are new to the game, it'll be a lot easier to follow. And this is not meant to sound patronizing, it's just from experience, if we just have the live hands displayed.
Look, if you really care about what the folded cards are, write them all down very quickly. every single hand. You can do it.
Well, I don't know about you, Joe, but I discovered the other day that my mobile phone has a camera on it. And so what you could do is you can hold your mobile phone up to the screen and like take a picture at the start of every hand, and then you've got that to refer back to.
Oh my God, you can take a. This is what this is for, is a picture thing.
I know, it's amazing. I've been pressing this button on the back for months trying to work out what it does. Turns out it's a lens.
Did you know that this same camera here, that you could call someone on it also? I don't know if you've seen that, but you can like call another person, like a phone, like a landline with this camera. How are there no club draws out there? Come on. I mean,
a bunch of nothing here.
Pretty hard. Yeah. Come on, Noah.
Fat Marat said, Rue with another limp in the same exact spot as before. Yeah, I agree. This is exactly what you talked about before, Fat, which he's limping in because, once again, exclusives in the big blind. So, yeah, it's a nice observation by you.
And I've seen Rue play pretty tight in pots against Noah. It seems like they're, intent on protecting that second place stack right now. They got a little out of line against Dante, but we've seen, in other spots against Noah where they're just kind of like, all right, well, let's just keep this 2.5 million.
Yeah, Balu asked earlier, Joey, with the flush out there and the blind versus blind, is it an instant bet from the small blind because your opponent can't call unless they have a flush? Now, yeah, people have to remember that board. But yeah, it's an interesting question. Yeah, I think he just had enough showdown value with the pocket jacks in his hand, so he didn't necessarily need to bluff. And he probably would have thought his opponent might have folded an ace as well, too. You can see EEE's limping in the button here. So we're going to see a lot of limps. Just different play, different kind of style than Hold'em. Hold'em, you get. There's not many limps in Hold'em tournaments. I mean, unless you're playing at like the Golden Nugget or Sahara here in Vegas, you're going to see a lot of those guys limping because they don't really know what they're doing. But I mean, on PokerStars, right? I mean, you guys are streaming everyone. How is anyone bad at poker anymore, guys? You guys are streaming with the whole cards of the best players in the world and commentating it every day for the past 3 weeks. How can anyone be bad at Hold'em anymore, guys? What's going on?
Well, they're not all watching this stream, is all I can say. I think the guys limping the button at the Sahara are probably not tuning in at 10:30 in the morning to watch 8 hours of Scoop final tables. They're probably watching The Price is Right.
Is an interesting situation. Rue decides to fold to the re-raise. Yeah, I do feel that those players you're talking about there, Joey, are exactly the same type of players who imparted that wise advice to Joe Stapleton all those years ago. Always see a flop. And, you don't want to raise it because then you're making it too expensive to see a flop, right?
Hold on, I need to write this down. Always see a flop. I like that. I need to work this in more. Always see the flop. We're going on flop propaganda here, kid. Joe. We need to get people to go to the flop. I like this. This is a good idea.
Let me tell you something, kid. Always see a flop.
Before you decide to actually execute this advice, you should probably ask Mr. Stapleton how it's worked out for him over the last 2 decades.
I flop really well. It's the fact that I can't get people to not see turns or rivers that really bones me.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
So Terra
here's going to call the small
Rue.
blind with the queen. Yeah. A little bit of lag here on our end, guys, if you guys are wondering. So we'll get it better.
So if you're just going to call the action of this hand, Joe, what do you just call this? Jacks versus tens right now?
I'd say more like draw? One pair versus flush draw, over pair gut shot. Yeah, because like the jacks versus tens isn't necessarily as relevant this hand. It's more about the potential of your hand. Oftentimes in Putnam and Omaha, so you kind of want to look and see, okay, like you block, you have a 6, you kind of block. You have 1 diamond, you block that. You have the jacks, and then I kind of look at it like that when I'm thinking about structuring the hand in my mind.
Well, it is now a made flush, and Terra is officially drawing dead.
Yeah, let's see how Rue plays this. So I imagine Terror's... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he bet. He does bet. He does have one blocker in his hand, right? He has that Jack of Diamonds, which is going to be a little bit relevant. He can also fold out a lot of Rue's range. Rue's going to need a flush here or 2 pair to continue. He also has a 6 in his hand, which blocks some of the ace-6. So Rue's going to basically need a flush to continue here. And then Terror most likely will give up on the river once he gets called. Let's see what happens. 600,000 in the pot. Terror does get called. Yeah, I'd say the weakest hand, ace-7, maybe a straight, 5-8, 3-5, but he's not calling too many 5-8s and 3-5s pre-flop from the small blind versus a button raise. He's playing relatively tight with higher cards and some connected hands.
Ooh.
462,000. And Joe, you said you wanted to see a hand play through the streets. I think we're going to see a hand played to conclusion. I think we're going to get to showdown.
We're finally going to have an showdown.
Yes, these are interesting. He knows Rue wants to conserve that chip lead, and he does call. Nice call by Rue. Ouch. Yeah, I understand Terra's logic there. He's trying to fold him out. He knows he's been playing tight. He knows he wants to conserve the amount of chips he has, being second in chips. Decides to go for it with that jack blocker in his hand, and Puppy sometimes runs into a guy not ready to fold a flush. So that happens.
Yeah, Terra's going to run.
Now he's going to be eliminated.
Also.
It looks like. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, Terra, the shortest stack now, and opens to 245,000. There's the re-raise from Stoyamanu, and it's all in. Kings versus Jacks. Diamond draw. Diamonds. And that is going to be the double up for Terra. So still
great game, right?
Still
look at this.
no eliminations.
Aces again in the next hand. Wow, he's gonna potentially be able to double up here again. So here we go.
It's Stoyamanu who's now short.
So this is going to get back to exclusive, and he's got a pretty nice looking hand. Ace, queen, 6-10, double suited. Looks a little better than it might be. Facing a 3-bet against a guy who you know is only 3-betting premium hands like aces or maybe double suited kings. You got to lay that one down, and he does lay it down. So, but yeah, Terra right there goes from what, short stack to 1.8. He's now what, second, third in chips right now. So not bad. He's still got 25 big blinds.
Yeah. And we can see that Noah still has the chip lead, 4.6 million, and Rue 400 still second on the leaderboard. Noah doesn't have the huge advantage that he once had, and certainly did not have the advantage on this board.
Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of nothing, James. How do you say this guy's name?
I'm going with Stoyamanu. I'm going with the soft J here. Don't know much about this player other than that they're playing from Austria.
Stoyamanu sounds good. It sounds kind of Spanish. Stoyamanu. Peja Stojakovic. Where was that guy from? The NBA player. Where was he from, Joe? I don't know.
Definitely not Spain. Definitely not from Spain.
Where is this guy from, dude? Serbia. Aye. Of course I should know that. Come on. Aye. Shout out to Leah in the chat. Joey, you're bringing this show on fire. Thank you, Leah. Leah, new Twitch streamer. Check her out. Call me Leah. Working hard. Future force in the Twitch poker streets world. So here we go, guys. We got a couple straights here. So we got 2 straights. We don't have any redraws. Redraw meaning when you have a made hand and then you have a redraw to another stronger hand. So in that situation, you'd have a straight, like a queen 9, plus you might have 2 pair, or you might have a flush draw. So ideally, you want to put a lot of money in these kind of situations when you have a straight plus the redraw to go with it. But as you can see, Elish just calls. And now he can potentially do some weird things where he can turn some of his hands into bluffs and try to get his opponent to fold off a worse straight or the same straight. So kind of gets interesting on these later streets when both players flop a nut straight, but there's a flush draw out there and it kind of comes in like this.
Turn card killed all the action.
Yeah, has to be a little bit worried that Noah has a flush also.
Yeah, guys, that's one of those boards where a lot of turn cards are going to be bad, right? A queen, ace, king, 9, jack, 10, 8. So it's like, it seems like it might be some action, but oftentimes, like it ends up getting all in on the flop, and then on the turn, like let's say it's a offsuit 3, you know, you're going to see a big bet by the straight, you're going to see a call by a hand that has good odds. So it's one of those boards where you go into prayer mode, where you just start praying to God that your straight holds up against this guy's massive draw, and you know, it's stressful. It's a stressful situation, guys. It is.
Everyone loves a chop pot limit.
That's the thing. You know what? I just completely missed, of course, that they did chop that. I think it's a bit too late for the song, but you can have this.
It just happens way more often in this game.
At least we're not playing high-low, where it doesn't count.
Yeah,
Free flop, Ruru.
High-low. Yeah.
Nah, dog. Raise it up.
So Rue's an interesting player. I can already see this by his style. I like what I'm seeing. Queen 4, 9, jack, putting a lot of pressure on Terror in that small blind. Terror's going to be folding. I wonder how much he's actually going to be limp folding here, because I imagine a lot of hands he's going to limp fold. He might just fold initially himself too without antes. Yeah. So I do imagine his range is going to be a little stronger here, but at the same time, Rue does have position. He's going to have position on later streets as well too. He can put in a small bet here and oftentimes take the pot down. So, you know, I don't hate it too much. On the surface, it might look like kind of, you know, a little out of line and maybe unnecessary, but you can kind of see where it develops to on later streets, especially once, you know, these guys are going to be playing kind of tight because of what stack sizes they're at. So you can put a lot of pressure in. I think that's what we're going to see in these tournaments or PLO, is that you can put a lot of pressure on your opponents with some hands that maybe at cash you would just lay down, but at tournaments you might decide to mix it up a little bit.
Rue gets to raise again.
Bringing the terror.
What is Rue's avatar? Is that a pig with hair?
That is a Peppa Pig, I believe.
That's not Peppa Pig.
It's a Peppa Pig character, though, isn't it?
Is it? I don't think so.
Oh.
I've been forced to watch many an episode of Peppa Pig, and I don't think that's anything to do with Peppa Pig.
Okay, my bad.
If anyone knows in the chat what that is, I will gift you a subscription in the chat. So if you answer and tell us what that is, I will happily gift you a subscription, because I need to know what the heck is going on with this pig. Maybe it's that Black Mirror pig that one guy, you know. I don't know. It could be. You never know.
I love the fact that's where your mind went.
You know, listen, it's been a weird time, guys. I've been watching this. Yeah, a lot of Black Mirror out there.
That is a show, Joey, that should not be binge watched. I made the mistake of watching the entire first and second seasons on a flight once and was so depressed by the end of my journey. It's like, no, one episode, then watch something else, come back to it a few days later, watch the next one. So grim.
Yeah, it's a real smart idea. I wish I would have followed that advice when I took it in.
It's too late now, yeah. Your brain's already been destroyed.
No. Warning, if you're out there thinking about watching Black Mirror, please take James' advice and only watch one episode at a time before. Yeah.
I watched like one a year.
Pick it up? Yeah. Pig with a hockey helmet and black eye.
I don't think we can accept that as an answer. I think we needed something more specific. We got another collision shaping up here.
Uh-oh. We got, Exclusive might be able to get away from this if this gets open for pot right now. Ace-Jack 6-3, he's thinking about what to do. Double suited seems like a playable hand, a little bit over 10 big blinds. But I was going to say, it's not going to be good now for Exclusive. Pocket Kings, he's most likely going to raise here. Elis is going to limp re-raise. And then Exclusive has a decision. Single suited Kings, pretty strong hand. Most likely when you get limp re-raised to your opponent. Yeah, I mean, They're telling you they got a pretty strong hand. Most likely have aces. And now you have king, king, 8-3, one suit. The best you're hoping for is a rundown type hand, maybe ace jack, 9-10, maybe pocket queens, good queens, and he does lay it down.
Fold.
No.
And that is going to take us to the first break of this final table. All 7 players remaining in the 5K PLO. We are going to go across the arena to the final table of the 5K PKO. So apologies, Mr. Ingram, but we are going to have some 2-card hold'em just for 5 minutes, just while we fill the break. We have to drop in on this one because another huge buy-in event, more ridiculous prize money up for grabs, but also a stacked lineup. We've got Artur Martirosyan, Maratha, the most recent EPT champion. Bert Stevens, Giraffe Ganger, first time we've seen him during Scoop. Darius Sammartino, Secret Mode, who we saw come second on Saturday night. Patrick Leonard won a Scoop on Saturday, back for more. Tuan Mulder, the horse, always a force. And Jareth is in action, Jareth East. So a lot of light, a lot of talent here.
If you need us to explain anything about how Hold'em works, we can get somebody else probably to answer you. You can use all 5 cards on the board in this one if you want. You don't even have to use your 2 cards. It's pretty chill. 1 card, 2, none. It's fine. Like, whatever. It's laxed.
So
can you guys
Darius
explain?
Sammartino.
Can you guys explain how the big number next to their name works in terms of when they get knocked out? How much? Because I've always wondered. I've never really played one of these before. So how much do the players get if they knock their person out?
That the advertised sum is what they are worth in real money right now. So if you knock out Tuan Mulder, you will get $15,820.31 as a bounty, and obviously then an additional percentage of what's there kind of behind the scenes, if you like, becomes added to your head prize as well. But you get the 15.8.
You just get it. You just get it for good.
Yep.
Forever. I mean, until you enter your next tournament.
The sum that is advertised is not their total bounty. It's the sum that you actually win right here, right now, in your account, in your balance.
So yes,
wow,
you are
cool.
getting the right odds to call with just about anything, Joey, when there's a $15,000 bounty on the line. You're like, ace deuce, all right, let's do this.
So do you see players? You see players making a lot more wider plays than they normally are going to make in these kind of format. Then when a big bounty's up there, okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, okay. Just creates a lot more action basically in a lot of these tournaments.
Of course, because you think about the ICM considerations, but you look at the difference in prize money between 8th and 7th, and it pales in comparison to a 16K bounty on Tino Mulder's head.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Why does the horse have the red by his name?
Because that is the single biggest bounty available right now. The bounty leader, if you like. And that is a bounty that's very much in play. A few players have got Mulder covered. Maratha took a stab on the turn and might decide to give up on the river. No, overbets the pot, and it's half of Darius Sammartino's stack to make this call. And understandably, Sammartino thinking about this. But makes the call. And the hero call sees Darius Sammartino win that pot against Artur Martirosyan. So let's go back to the final table of the PLO. Pot limit Omaha, 6 max high roller, all 7 players remaining. The stacks have got shallower. Look at everyone from 3rd and below, 22 bigs or fewer. Roof 400's got 54 bigs. Noah Boken still chip leader with 64 bigs. Guys, I'm going to leave you with the two Joes, Ingram and Stapleton. Have fun.
Welcome back, my babies, to the 5K pot limit Omaha, otherwise known as the Great Game. Joe Stapleton, Joe Ingram. I got bad news for you guys. I did a reverse Google image search of the I did a Google image search. I just typed in pig with black eye, and all that came up was a picture of your mom. So,
Jesus Christ.
Bad
Pig
news, guys.
with
Sorry
black
about
eye.
that. And just a photo of your mom popped up. So
wow, it is my mom. You're right. It's real weird.
No, not your mom. Your mom. Ace is here for Stoya Manu. And Noah defends with, what do you call that? A rundown?
Oh my God.
That looks like a pretty good flop.
Rundown, a super rundown. Wow, he holds. Oh my God. Aces does not, I mean, listen, aces on that flop, not a favorite. King, queen, 10, jack for exclusive. Flops the top pair with that top wrap. And Stojimano goes backdoor full house and makes that ace on the turn, fills up on the river, doubles up, still alive. And Joe, we're not getting rid of anybody out here. None of these guys want to leave this game.
We had a short stack double up. Noah Boken lost the chip lead, although only by a slight margin. And Rue, who gained it by virtue of that double up of Stoya, raises aces and flops top set. Middle pair for Terror.
Right, I'm gonna gift some subscriptions. Does anybody in the chat want some subs? I'm gonna gift a few subs to you guys right now. If anyone out there is a long time commentator in the chat, if you guys feel like you add value, feel like, hey, I deserve a subscription, let me know in the chat right now. I'm gonna hand out a few to you guys, okay? And we'll get some more subs around this place, man.
That's nice. Raksha would be a good person.
Who we got? Who wants what's up, guys? Come on. Black Mamba, 24 Kobe. I'm a chat pro for fucks. All right, we got a lot of guys. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Let me see. How do I? I'll give you guys all a sub. I'll give you guys all a sub. Hold on. How do I do this? All right. You get one.
Action folds around to Terror in the small blind. We see a small blind limp.
Do you guys have sub alerts on here?
Yep. Well, no, it won't show up on our stream, but I mean, obviously in the chat, it'll show up.
Okay. Alacantor with a sub. I'm going to give him one. Black Mamba, 24 Kobe. I'm going to give you one as well. Joe, I'll let you take over on this PLO action. I'm going to gift out a few subs to the chat here, okay?
Top pair for Rue. Really not much happening here for Terror. Backdoor clubs also for Rue. Terror checks. Backdoor straights. Terror does also have a backdoor heart draw. And some backdoor straights. Not enough to continue. Rue up over 4 million now.
All right, I've given away 5 so far. I'm gonna find some more here to give away to. Joe, you're doing a good job.
Dante Goya.
No, unsurprisingly. Hey, Joe, I heard your name came up today in a conversation I was having earlier this morning about an event in August.
Oh yeah, I gotta have a phone call about that later. And just Joey, you've been on the scene for a while. I've been on the scene for a really long time, and I know that of all of the times something like that has been discussed, it has happened exactly 0. And I'm talking like 0 for 40. So I hope it does happen. It sounds like a lot of fun, but we'll see. We'll see if it comes through. We've got aces double suited here for Rue.
Yeah, double suit aces, very strong hand. EE, king jack, 8-7. Unfortunately, you can't really do much about it. You just got to lay this one down. But he calls. Never mind. He shows me what I know here. Okay, that's a real weird hand.
Look at this, 3 5s for Rue now. And EE has bricked, as you would expect. Gonna have to lay it down now for sure. There it goes. And 4.6 million now for Rue. That's a Noah Boken level chip stack as far as things where they started today. That's where Noah was at. He's got pocket kings to kick off this hand. One of them suited. We've got a suited ace for Rue. Some Broadway cards. Wow, puts
Rue's
in
had
the
enough.
three bet. Wow. Rue is
Love this
opening
guy.
up
This is my
here.
favorite player. Rue is my favorite player I've watched on stream in a long time. I'm loving this guy right now. Or girl, or pig. We don't know.
We don't. Well, we do know. We know about Rue a little bit. We
So
do not have
exclusive
a
here.
real
King,
name
King,
on
9-10.
Rue,
He
so
lays
it
it
could
down.
be
Wow. Wow.
Rue playing out of Canada.
Wow.
That wasn't very polite.
Yeah.
Has a win in Scoop from 2010, so they've been on the scene for a little while. Also 2018 and 2019, so 3 Scoop titles. And I think at that point they hid their online results, so we actually don't know that much about Rue. I like this mystery person.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite players I've seen in a while.
Keeping their foot on the gas. And this is just a great situation to be in, right? Because now they can just do what Noah was doing before with all these stacks in such weird spots. They can really just exert max pressure and open tons of hands. Maybe not 8 high.
Yeah, maybe not 8 high. 8 high might be not good enough.
10s here for Dante. Is going to run into kings.
He's got pretty good 10s here too, Joe. Double suited, 10, 10, 6, 9. I imagine he's going to call at least one raise. I don't think Joe's going to limp re-raise his hand. It's not that strong, but I imagine he's going to at least see a flop. Yeah, my man Hero Value in the chat said that the Jack 8-6-4 double suited fold from the big blind versus min. Hate to see it. Yeah, I mean, a little bit tight, but I mean, that's why I don't like these PLO tournaments, man. You got to fold hands like Jack. That's a beautiful hand. Jack 4-6-8 double suited to a min raise is an absolutely beautiful hand, and to have to fold that. He folds that 10-10-6-9 double suited too. So these guys are playing real tight right now.
Does give it up. Yeah, gives it up pre-flop. Surprising also to me.
Yeah, it usually does show. I feel like I say the same thing when I watch these too, Joe, is I say like, man, I'm real surprised how tight it's playing, but I say it every time. So I got to stop being surprised at some point in time how tight they're playing. Because,
yeah,
I think so. Yeah. That's Dante, nice 3-bet. Yeah, I think just with ICM and kind of PLO ICM, I feel like it's being more and more known and people are kind of understanding it a little bit better and people are coming up with different strategies and yeah, it just seems like with equities running so close, you lay these close hands down.
It's hard to, look, if what you mostly focus on is PLO cash games, it's hard to get out of that mentality also, right? Like that's a fold you're not going to make in a cash game. You don't have to worry about ICM. You can reload your stack. And it's hard to, you look at that and you're like, from my perspective, my experience, that's a hand I would want to play. But in this particular situation, it's probably the right fold. Trip aces for terror. 2 clubs as well.
Yeah, you're right about that, Joe, right? You got to like reframe it in the moment. Your first instinct is to automatically click the call button, but then you got to think about it and say, it's a tournament, Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's hard for a lot of people to be able to do that.
Noah taking a stab here for around a quarter
what a
pot.
flop here. What a flop here, man. 0% for both players.
And Rue will likely not be overcalling with maybe the biggest miss possible in Omaha. I don't know if you can miss any harder than this.
Yeah, we've seen this guy do some crazy things, Joe. I don't think this is going to be one of those things.
4 on the turn's a full house now for Terror.
Yeah, exclusive. He's probably not going to lose too much more here. Once the guy calls and the button most likely has an ace, or he's got at least like kings, maybe a high flush draw with a pair, maybe like pocket kings with king 10 of clubs or something like that. So yeah, you're kind of done with the hand, especially when you have a king in your hand. And now Terra's got to be thinking, how do I get some value from this guy? Let's check it back.
Checks it back, hoping to get a bet out of Noah on the river. Not going to happen.
And now you're hoping for that prayer call where you're making a bet and you're praying the guy's got something. You're just trying to figure out what kind of size do I want to go with, and do I want to target maybe a hand? Maybe he's got an ace I could potentially target, so I should size up. Maybe I want to bet smaller so I can get called by maybe like kings or queens. He does go small.
Looks like we're going on the smaller side. Yep. And
now he might be tempted to call here with that 9. So he does make the 2 pair and the flush draw misses, but he does lay it down. He sniffs out the trap.
Pocket queens for Dante, 1 suited.
Wow. Okay. Those seem like pretty strong queens. King, what was it? King, queen, queen, 9? Oh. Xanax Yum said, how's the Postle lawsuit going, Joey? Well, last I heard, the Postle lawsuit was dropped by Mike Postle. So, yeah, that's the last I've heard about that situation. So that's probably a good thing for us if we're in a $330 million lawsuit. The lawsuit gets dropped. That's a good thing for us. So we're happy about that.
Yeah, nobody's like disappointed when that happens. I wasn't.
Yeah.
Somehow, I wasn't quite as vocal about what was going on at that time as you guys were.
Yeah.
We've got 2 flush draws now for Stoya Manu.
We got a lot going on here.
Down.
Yeah, we got 2 flush draws.
Bunch of straights.
Yeah, straight draw. A lot of straight draws here and flush draws. So Tara's not going anywhere. He's got a wrap and he's got a top wrap and he's got that flush draw. So he's not going to go anywhere right now. If we get a blank river, maybe like a offsuit ace, I'd be very interested, but Tara makes the nuts on the river.
Not a blank river. But
Stoya Manu has that bottom pair.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, really goes for it here. Has really stepped into it. This is actually a terror for Stoya Manu.
Yeah. Disguise straight 7-8. I mean, you're probably not putting this guy in deuce 3 calling the turn. You're probably not putting him on a 7-8 calling the turn unless it's 6-7-8 specifically.
With 2 spades.
Yeah, this is yeah.
And Stoya forced to fold. Now we are going to check in here on the 5K High Roller Turbo. We've got Tino Mulder shoving with the biggest bounty in play. Patrick Leonard with King 7. I think we might get an opportunity to see someone call for a big bounty. We do. King high flop. And Tino Mulder misses the straight draw on the river. So that's $15,000 just for calling it off with King 7 there. Sorry to see Tino go. Tino is just a perennial final tableist in these high rollers, just always there. And now we've got another shove from Camel, called by MacArthur. Is ace high going to hold? No, it's a double up for Camel.
Oh, sick. Always
5,600 stays in play. Back to the Omaha. Rue. Double suited King Queen. Raise and take it. Aces for You So Got Pwned.
Shout out to my man Moonlight Master out there in the chat. Always working hard. He's all over the place, man. Moonlight Master. Hope you're doing well, brother. Nice to see you, man. So Exclusive is going to call with the double suited Queen 10 Jack 5. Not the best double suited hand. Usually you want to fold those hands that got that 5 in it, but he's going to go for it. He's flops a double gutter here, so he's definitely going to go with his hand, and he's going to hope to stack top set with either a 9 or a king. That's not good.
That's a full house on the turn for You So Got Pwned, despite the 9 on the river. That's another double up at the hands of Exclusive, who's now down to 2.3 million, drops to 3rd in chips.
Wow.
I can't imagine how frustrating it is playing this game and having the chip lead and then just like losing a whole bunch of these 60-40 situations and just watching it all slip away.
Yeah, man, it's not a very comforting situation to be in, especially when it's a bunch that happen and, you know, you're starting to dwindle down, and now you got Rue, who's a big chip lead. You're third in chips. One big pot you lose now. It might even go down more. So you could be the short stack here pretty soon. So yeah, it is frustrating, but you got to hold your composure together. You got to stay, you know, you got to kind of, okay, first I start off with the chip lead. I was playing one style. Now I don't have as many chips. I have to adjust. I got to pull back a little bit from how I was playing. And you know, maybe he made some questionable opens earlier with some of these hands, but for the most part, some of the bigger hands we've seen have been kind of standard. I do think that hand was a little bit loose, but Queen Jack 10-5 on the button, you kind of want to have a better, you don't want to have a dang like a 5 or a 4-3 deuce. You want to have something at least a little better than that, like something that's going to connect more with your side cards. So you kind of put yourself in that situation where you do, you know, mix it up a little bit, and then you compound that by, you know, flopping a double gutter against top set, where maybe you could just lay that one down and wait for a spot where you have a little bit better hand. But that's sometimes what we see in PLO.
I'm still very new to Omaha. I do play a very small Omaha tournament every week now. And you find yourself in those situations going like, all right, like this is probably a fold, but like I'm going to just like take a flop. And when I miss, like I'll just get away from it. And then you always end up flopping something like a double gutter where you're like, okay, well, great. Now I can't fold. Like the worst thing I could do now is fold. Like that would be even worse than calling with his pre-flop. So I'm just going to go for it. And oftentimes you end up doubling the short stack up.
Yeah, but I think about the times I stack the you know, the short stack, or I stack some big stacks.
That's
so
good.
So Stoziumanu is he has top 3 pair here.
And no, finally the first elimination of the day. Stoziumanu got outturned or rivered. We're both, I can see Joe's like, I'm not really sure what happened there. Stoziumanu out in 7th for $33,000. Someone wrote lost to the straight, maybe.
What he had 10 Jack 9 8, not 10 9 8 3. What he had was a crazy hand to have there. But yeah, he lost to a straight. Queen 6 7 flopped the bottom straight, and he took it down. And now we got a real big flop right here, Joe. Nut flush draw versus a wrap and a flush draw for Dante. So we might see a massive pot here between these two stacks. I imagine he's going to see a check raise, and then Rue's probably not going anywhere with that nut flush draw.
There's the check raise. And do we just get the rest in? No, it's a fold.
Rue,
wow.
it Holy. I love this game. It's a crazy game.
Rue is unpredictable.
I love it.
Does not want to play for the rest. Doesn't even call. Just folds. And another big hand for Dante Goya. One suited ace.
I mean, we can kind of see what he's thinking. Maybe he's thinking that this guy would only check raise me with a hand like pocket kings or a wrap with a flush draw, lays down the nut suit, protect the chips. It makes sense. I can understand where he's coming from. And right now, look at this. Joey flops a wrap, and he's going to get rewarded potentially for his tight fold there with the nut flush draw.
It's seemingly so much worse of a spot, but there is the straight on the turn and makes up what looked like a big fold and then just dispatches Dante Goya F on the very next hand. Dante is going to walk with just over $42,000. We're down to 5. Lost no players during the first hour of the day, and now we've lost 2 in almost back-to-back hands.
This guy Rue I love this guy, man. Rue raises the queen 5 6 9 double suit under the gun. He's got the chip lead, makes sense. Calls the 3-bet, flops the wrap, immediately has the guy drawing dead on the turn. GG. 6th place for you, Dante.
The Rue is on fire.
So now we got 5-handed. We're going to see action pick up just a little bit. Reevaluate stack sizes. It looks like Rue has almost 100 big blind. I mean, Rue is really killing it. My God. Yeah, Rue is 6.7 million chips. Wow. Okay.
You will rue the day. Nobody hits these kings. Got backdoor clubs, backdoor hearts for both players. Exclusives continuation bet. Gets it done. Looks like a crap hand there for Terror. He's out. Rue is going to run into a big one if they decide to open this. Yuso got pwned with a pretty nice starting hand. Pocket aces,
ace,
suited Broadway.
Yeah. It's a beautiful hand, Joe, right
like
there.
a fold.
Ace, queen 10, queen 10
great.
diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice hand. Joe, you're ready to play a pot limit tournament to me, it sounds like, buddy.
I'm sure you would love to have me in any field that you're playing. I look, there's bad beat stories abound in all the poker I play, but I'm like, you know, me and my friends, we play one small pot limit Omaha tournament like on the side every week, like as a side event while we play our main event. And so many times I'm like, oh, you can only win this. Like it goes in like you can only win with an offsuit 4. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So I haven't got, you know, calloused. You know, you have to callous over those emotions when you play PLO. When you have someone in jail, which like happens so infrequently, like they're totally in jail and they still get out of it. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for this game yet. I'm not mentally or emotionally prepared for this game.
Yeah.
Noah Boken.
Yeah, I can understand that, Joe.
Ace King. Yeah, you know, you just got to get used to it. You're an adrenaline junkie, JoJo. You like it. You like the thrill, the swings, the ups and downs. I'm but a simple boy.
Well, these two non-simple boys are battling right here, Joe.
Yeah, they sure are. Nut flush draw here for exclusive. What do we have here for Rue? Not a whole lot.
Yeah, Joe Rue's got a gutter and he's an 8. I mean, he 3-bet pre-flop. He has a bunch of nothing. He's just going to give it up. Exclusive with a calls the raise, calls the 3-bet pre-flop. Ace King 5-3. Does have that nut suit there. A little weak hand, but he does get away with it. Flops a nut flush draw, bets it, takes it down.
And opens a little light here, I would think, under the gun.
Yeah, I mean, queen check 8-4 double suited. Yeah, pretty. Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh man. Top set versus the flop flush. Will the board pair? No, there goes E. E eliminated out in 5th. $54,950. Noah Boken back up over 4 million. GG Elis Parsonen. And we're down to 4 players now. What a cooler. What?
Guys, listen, this is how these tournaments go, man.
Cooler.
You raise the queen jack 8-4 with the queen jack of hearts and 8-4 clubs under the gun. You call the 3-bet, you flop the nut flush versus aces, and you knock them out of the tournament. That's how these games go sometimes, man. It's real. It can be like that, man. These PLO tournaments are wild. And that's kind of why you want to have chips, is you can withstand that. But when you only have less than 10 big blinds, those are the kind of situations you're going to find yourself in. So that happens, man. Yeah, Elis, nice showing. 5th place for him. And once again, another final table for a big PLO event.
You so got pwned. Rue, Terror, and Noah Boken.
Yeah, you can kind of see, Joe, you got so pwned, or you so got pwned as laddered up here a little bit. And now he laddered up, 3 places? $71,000 from next place out. If he can outlast one more player, it's up to $93,000. So he's in a pretty good spot right now. He's got to be feeling good. And maybe now he's saying, okay, well, anything from here is going to feel like a real big bonus, because I maybe thought I might go out in last place and 7th place in these tournaments. So he's probably feeling pretty confident about his situation. Obviously, he doesn't have many chips, and this might be it.
Still getting aggressive. Getting aggressive with pocket kings. King 10 suited. And it's another all-heart flop.
Yeah, this might be a close your eyes and bet and pray to God the guy doesn't have a flush.
Or even just, 2 pair, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want your opponent to have a hand like ace deuce, ace queen, even queen deuce. They're probably not going to go anywhere to this size bet. Luckily for him, Rue had the worst flop possible for his hand. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, the DU said interesting call with the Jack 7-9-5 double suited. Yeah, you definitely that is a very interesting call, and you can kind of see Rue. Maybe he was he's feeling good from that hand where he had the Queen 9-6-5 double suited and takes a 3-bet in position, and maybe it isn't even that bad. But oftentimes when you do call there, it's going to get you in a spot where you're going to flop some piece. I mean, rare you're not going to flop anything like he did, and
we got
it is pretty gambly. It is mixed up a little bit, and you might have the right odds pre-flop, debatably, maybe close. And if it's close, you probably don't have the right odds more than you do have the right odds. But I would think, and a lot of players might choose to avoid those situations, especially with you still got pwned. What did he have there? He had over about 20 big blinds, I believe. So, but this guy's taking some chances. He's gambling a little bit, and it's a great thing about PLO is you're often going to hit a flop where you can kind of go with it. So, but. Yeah,
your creativity can get rewarded pretty easily in this game, which I like.
Yeah, it definitely can. That's a great way to put it. You can get creative with your pre-flop hand selection and, go on a nice run and make a strong hand and maybe just fold the flop too, right? It doesn't cost you that much sometimes.
Top pair here for Rue. Noah hoping for an ace, I guess, on the river. Or you can muscle your way out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rue's going to need a queen here to call. Rue might have led a 5 on the turn, or some of his queens in the turn.
Queen makes the call. Jack on the river does improve Noah, but not enough. Goes check, check, and another pot goes to Rue. I think maybe given how loose Rue and Noah are playing, I might tighten up even more if I'm got pwned or terror at this table, but guess it's a pretty small sample size at the moment. Rue's limping in. Pwn gets a free flop and flops top 2 pair. Got a flush draw for Rue. Now, in these situations, Joe, when you have 2 pair and you think it's the best hand, are you just going to hammer this? Or are you going to, knowing that your opponent's unlikely to fold draws in this spot, do you just call and wait for a safe card?
No, you probably just want to call here and see a different turn, right? See a safe turn. I mean, your hand's pretty strong, but you still lose to the nuts, and you're going to want to have some strong hands in your calling range as well, too. So having a hand like top 2 pair in your calling range so you can continue on the turn like this is going to be something that you're going to want to have. Maybe you want to raise ace king if you have a flush draw potentially go with it, but he does lay it down. So while he's just playing really tight, so never. I mean, maybe. Yeah, it's an interesting fold. I mean, I probably wouldn't have laid that one down at least on the turn, and maybe on the river if a spade comes or if a jack or a 10 comes, maybe you think about laying it down. But yeah, especially with this guy Rue's playing pretty aggressive.
Yeah, when we're looking for reasons to make laydowns like that, we should go over the fact that next player out makes $71,000. Next player out after that makes $93,000. So we're talking about a $22,000 prize jump just from not being the next person to go out. So always important to remind ourselves of that when we see folds that don't make a ton of sense to us as people that can see all of the hole cards, by the way. 2 diamonds and a 7. Okay, we got a jack for Rue. And I
imagine Rue's going to keep putting the pedal to the metal here, man. Rue seems pretty aggressive, and he's got the middle pair, gut shot, straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Tara's got a weak flush draw, facing 1/3. He might think about continuing here with the backdoor straight draw as well, too. I guess at the 7, maybe make some 2 pairs, might give him some trouble. See what he does here. Very small. He does continue. Turns a king. Once again, Rue's going to be able to bet this turn with the 10 in his hand if he wants to. Especially against that small bet. I think Tara's going to be calling with the straight draws. I guess Rue blocks some of those straight draws with the 9 and the 10 in his hand. But Tara's going to have some flush draws, some weak aces. He does lay it down. Nice
work.
play by
Rue
Rue.
gets that one done.
Yeah.
Yeah, with pure mustard. You so got pwned. Pocket sixes and a suited ace. Folds. Boken. Opening. Ace, queen, 10-9 with some diamonds in there. Rue with a defendable double suited hand flops the heart draw. And Noah with the
big
ace
flopper,
of
Noah
hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Two pair as well. Yeah, I'm focusing on the bluff that might come later, but the two pair is also relevant.
Yeah, you can see that, Joe. Top two pair with that nut flush blocker. Potentially could use that later street.
And
now Rue.
Turn.
So when Rue check calls, his hand looks like a flush draw, some queens, 10 jack. Noah's not loving that. He does have a 10 in his hand, so he blocks that 10 jack. But this is a real tricky spot for him to decide if he wants to check or bet. He does bet once again. Could bet or could check back there. Now Rue has a jack high flush draw with the gutter.
Noah seems to take the bet option when there's bet and check back as the two options, and that works out for him there. Gets a decent equity hand to fold. Noah's up to almost 4 million again. And this is going to look like a monster here for Rue, and not a great holding for You So Got Pwned.
Yeah, I've been studying a lot of Nolan and Hold'em heads up lately, Joe, and there's a lot of checking back there to balance ranges and to, I mean, you check back with all types of hands in all different spots, like the nuts and really non-intuitive kind of situations. So kind of bringing that thought process over to PLO tournaments, you know, you kind of say, okay, well, how much checking back with value type hands should you be doing versus betting and protecting your equity? And, you know, those are some questions that you got to think about when you play these tournaments, when you have a spot like Noah did there with, like, you know, his hand, he could check back, but maybe it's better just to bet and, you know, fold out the hand kind of like Rue had, because it has a bunch of equity against your top two pair with your gutter. So, you know, it's kind of interesting things to think about right now for me when I'm thinking about PLO tournaments. And I'm actually going to start playing more of these because they're appear that these might actually be a normal thing now. So like there's going to be more events during online series, during live series. So if there's going to be more PLO tournaments to play, then, you know, I might as well get in the mix a little bit.
Look, I think one of the greatest things that's happened as a result of woke culture is that it's now acceptable to play PLO tournaments. I mean, that's something we fought for really hard last summer, all the marching in the streets. You know, we maybe didn't accomplish much in the way of social justice, but at least we can play PLO without being ashamed of it anymore. 3 8s now for Noah. Has Terra drawing dead.
Yeah, Terra's got two pair. He might call one street here with that ace king 5 in his hand. PLO, social justice warriors. I like that. Social PLO. What would be the way to describe that coalition? That would be.
The PLO, the Parliament Omaha Liberation Organization.
Mm-hmm. Could be that, yeah. I think PLO does stand for Palestinian Liberation Organization. I think that is.
It does. Yes.
Okay.
Pocket aces here for Terra. 10s and 3s for Rue. This hand I think looks better than it is. Yep.
Yeah, 10-10-3-3, especially facing a raise and a re-raise. It's always tempting to want to call. And sometimes I, in fact, do call with that hand in a cash game, but in a tournament, I probably better slay that one down.
10s and deuces now, and Noah says we can be the aggressor with this hand. Rue with some poo. And You So Got Pwned. Does have jacks and diamonds. Lets it go.
Mm-hmm.
And
he gets rewarded with the pocket aces double suited, just like that. Nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Immediately 3 bets.
Snap 3.
I'm not wasting any time. I'm immediately 3 betting you here, buddy. Okay.
Let's go. Get it in.
Yeah, Rue, ace 10, 4, 5. I mean, this is a very weak hand, so has to lay that one down. Can't really be calling a 3-bet with that type of hand. You're going to want to have, if you do call a hand like ace 10, 5, 4, you want it to be double suited if you're going to consider start to call. But yeah, one suit, three clubs, not good.
Pocket queens here.
Wow.
Not a lot to go
This
with
guy's playing
it.
really tight. Yeah.
And Noah with a bunch of big cards. Flops top pair. Not up against a flush draw. Not up against any real straight draws.
Yeah, this action was really fast too. I like this. This is a nice setup you guys got here.
I've found that you know, people were complaining about like tanking being the biggest issue facing the poker world for a while. Well, I will say that since we've been doing these things online, even though you don't have much time to begin with, people don't really take very long, which has been nice. We've covered lots of online tournaments over the last 12, 13 months, and it's all pretty pacey. It's like I couldn't name a player who I'm like, oh god, they take so long. No one really does. So I think it's mostly because they're multi-tabling and they just can't sit here and tank over every decision.
Yeah, I know.
To the other tables.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you play a lot of tables, if you're playing like 8, 9, 10 tables, you can't. There's no time to like fake tank down and stuff because you just gotta you're making decisions. And maybe at a final table, you might say, okay, I'll take some more time. But I think a lot of these guys like just still they're not necessarily one tabling, so they're playing a lot of games, and maybe some of the people who would be slower are also playing a lot of games too. So that's why you happen to see the people that are one tabling aren't going to come here and play super slow because they're just locked in on one table. So maybe we do have live poker starting back up a lot. So maybe live poker we maybe that tanking comes back, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe due to the nature of online game, it's just like faster paced and people are used to making decisions faster, maybe.
Yeah, look, and online you have all the information from you, right? You know exactly how much in the pot. You know exactly what all the bets were on the previous streets. You don't have to piece that information together in your head the same way you do live. What a flop here, by the way, for Noah Boken. Mm-hmm. Top 2 pair, at least on the flop, and the flush draw. Queen on the turn does improve Rue slightly, but is drawing very thin.
Yeah, exclusive decides not to check raise here. Top 2, nut flush draw. Just check calls. Turn not necessarily that great for his hand. Does have, blocks the straight with the jack in his hand. A little bit relevant. He's obviously not going anywhere. He's going to continue here, I assume. I mean, I've been saying that a lot and they fold, so I'm ready for anything.
River's a spade. There's the flush for Noah.
Mm-hmm. Rue makes the backdoor 2 pair draw. Does have showdown now. I don't expect him to bet, and he does not bet. Yeah.
All right, and the 2 big stacks are now, basically even Stevens. And it's a race for 4th place at the moment between You So Got Pwned and Terror.
Yeah, I don't think You Got So Pwned is going to go down very easily. It appears that this guy is basically only played aces and pretty strong hands pre-flop so far. So maybe you could switch it up at some point in time. And wow, 10-9 jack. Wow. Okay.
We got an ace.
Now we're going to see what he does here with these pocket kings. Yeah, king 5-7, 1 suit, pretty strong kings against a guy who's been playing a lot of hands like Noah.
It's pretty rare for it to be aces versus kings in a hold'em, even though it comes up quite a bit, right? You'd think it's pretty rare. But in Omaha, hi-ya, king high flop, top set for You So Got Pwned, who may be able to live up to their name against Noah Boken in this hand. Noah Boken may be about to get pwned. The jack of spades on the turn doesn't change either player's hand strength.
Yeah, bad card for both players there. I mean, good card on the river here. You got Sopone might get some value here if he bets, but he doesn't bet. Now Noah might think about value betting here. Hope to get called by a hand like Ace King, maybe King Queen. And he does go really small, and he's going to get the bad news, and he's going to be real confused when he gets check raised here.
Confused, but probably not worried about being bluffed, given how Yusogapon's been playing.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. Yeah, it should be.
Again,
I mean,
we
you start thinking about what hands
of
would this guy be bluffing with. Yeah, King 6. Yeah, maybe King 6. Probably not. Maybe King 9. Those are the kind of hands you're going to think about. What he could be bluffing here with.
Boken does lay it down.
Balu said, Joe, I hope your brother John is doing well. I worked the 2006 World Series of Poker with him for Card Player.
Oh, what's up, Balu? He is doing well. He's been working for Fox Sports Net for like the last 10 or 12 years. From someone that he met while working at that job. So thanks for asking.
Exclusive with a re-raise here. Ace 5-9 Jack, Joe. Yeah, it's a little loose of a hand right there. Takes it down.
Exclusive, getting elusive, and back on top. Technically the chip leader, despite being very close here. Quick verbal note of the 64 high event we went to briefly, the 5K PKO. Camel 13, who we saw survive that all-in, has not survived their most recent all-in. They're out in 6th place, cashing for just under $40,000, down to 5 players in that event. 10, 10, 9 is this flop. Nobody with a big piece. Nobody with a big pocket pair. Is this deuces ahead right now?
Let me take a look. Yeah, I guess so.
Matter.
I guess so, yeah.
Next time. Terror with King, Queen, 10. Some spades. Definitely going to get punished unless they fold. Rue with the aces.
This is going to be interesting, Joe.
One suited.
Yeah, he's going to get 3-bet here. He's going to have to decide what to call or not. And King, Queen, 8, 10, three spades. Pretty nice connected hand. Pretty nice hand. But with ICM here and kind of with the state of the game, wouldn't be surprised to lay this one down. I mean, regular situations, you're not really ever folding this hand. But in this situation, it's going to be real close.
And on these close spots, folks have been erring on the side of caution.
Mm-hmm.
And Rue with another nice starting hand. And is going to punish Terror again, probably.
Yeah, he definitely knows that Terror has to be playing pretty tight. I mean, he could punish him pre-flop, or he could also punish him post-flop as well, too. So
sure,
he's going to be in position this hand, and if it gets checked to him, he can potentially take it away on a lot of boards, and he can call flops and bluff turns and maybe get himself into some dicey situations. So maybe if he knew how tight Terror was playing, he might decide to start re-raising him more with some hands like this. But I think this is a good hand to go post-flop with, too.
Top pair for Terror, over pair for Rue. And Terror did not continue. So Rue is taking over the betting lead.
And now Terror, top pair, gut shot, backdoor diamond draw. He's probably going to continue one street here and hope for a good turn card.
Turn card is not great, but not terrible either, I guess. Opens up some more straight draws.
Now, Rue's got a pretty interesting decision. He's got the overpair. Yeah, he's an overpair with the wrap. And once he gets check called on the flop,
is the winner.
Oh, man. Yeah. Sick river for Terror.
That shouldn't count. That shouldn't beat queens. Rue does check it back. Tara's going to win a decent pot at Showdown.
Yeah, nice river there for Tara. Rue's probably scared once he gets check called. He does have some showdowns where he beats flush draws, but most likely Tara might have a hand like kings or aces, so he decides to get timid and not bet the turn. Turn seems interesting in terms of betting or checking, but he goes with the more passive option.
Well, we see a limp in here. No, just a fold.
Blinds are going up.
50, 100,000.
So now we still got a lot of play from these guys. Pwned has 22 big blinds. Tara's got 26 big blinds. So there's still plenty of action, plenty of room to maneuver here. So I imagine we're going to see those two kind of playing relatively tight. I would say relatively tight, but Tara hasn't necessarily been playing that tight. See him open here, Queen 5-8-3. Some open 8-10-9-3 as well too.
I guess it must change short stack play significantly when there's no shoving pre-flop.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think
It's
so.
like,
I mean, I think you can just do
you
it.
can't
Play
just
a lot more
open.
hands,
You can't
raise a
just
lot more
open
hands, yeah.
shove 18 big blinds like you can in a hold'em tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
Oftentimes people
Yeah, obviously
will
you guys can
oblige
see if
you
you're
in
watching
Omaha.
that there's a lot more aces in this game. Like people get aces way more frequently than they're going to get it in hold'em. So yeah, I'm sure you guys can see that if you're wondering why is everybody getting aces so much with the 4 cards. Yeah, you get aces more often.
And aces win it again for Rue pre-flop. Yeah, not more than a few hands go by before we see pocket aces. Like I'd say no more than 3 hands generally.
Yeah, both got Mova in the chat said in PLO, is it at least 2 cards from your hand and only two cards from your hand? That's true. 2 cards from your hand. Has to be 2, not 1, not 3. Has to be 2 and then 3 on the board. So that is correct.
My favorite thing about that is how if you flop a flush and then the turn is also the same suit, you don't have to worry about somebody getting there. They either already had you beat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like there's
yeah,
no
good point.
4-card flush boards aren't that like big of an action killer.
Yeah, good turn card here for Rue. Turns the nut straight. And also a flush draw. He's going to lead. Noah has 3-4, so he's got middle 2 pair. I mean, not a very good hand, especially when you're facing a lead. You got to hope your opponent maybe has like, yeah. It's a nice hand for Rue. Dog for real though says your odds of getting dealt ace ace XX in PLO is about 2.5%. What are the odds of one person getting dealt aces with 6 players at a table in PLO, dog for real?
Well, it'd be 6 times that, right? Right, I think. So it'd be about 18%.
Yeah, 18% someone gets aces. Yeah, it makes sense.
And we'll just go up based on how many players are at the table. We got the flush draw for Yuso got pwned. Got a pair of jacks and 6s for Rue.
That checks out. Jamie Jesus said, how many blinds do they have? We need some calculators. Well, in this situation, guys, the blind is 100,000. So you look at their stack and then you count in increments of 100,000. So 2 million in 100,000 increments is 20 big blinds. But it's going to get harder. So you're right. So maybe we do need a calculator. That's a good point. What do you guys think about the blinds versus the chips, Joe?
You know, we get a lot of requests for people that want to see stacks in big blinds rather than chips. I think it's just a better show. It's just a better show to see a big number of chips out there, the total chips you've accumulated over the course of the tournament. You know, your big blinds, it's just kind of dull, right?
Isn't it really dull? Like, seriously, Joe, can we talk about that for just 1 second? Because I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, there's something weird about seeing it in blinds versus seeing it with like just a bunch of fucking chips, isn't it? Right? Like, just a lot of huge chip stack versus like 35 big blinds. I'd rather see the billion chips personally. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think if you're broadcasting, if you're putting on a show, I understand why as a player you might want to just have it in big blinds, but we're trying to win all of the chips in the poker tournament, right? That's what we're doing here. That's the whole goal. So we're going to show you the score in chips. We've got a flush draw on flush draw. Sadly, no hard on the turn because I just love a collision, personally.
Yeah, not a good turn for either player. Noah still has bottom pair, and now Rue has nothing on the river. Rue might think about bluffing here with the 10-8-7 deuce.
So this is a situation, my babies, where you're not playing queens and sixes with an ace. You got to play that 4.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, queen, 6. Yeah, so on that board texture, right? Exactly.
If you're a Hold'em player, you might look at that and think, I got queens and sixes with an ace. Not in Omaha.
Right. I need to play some PLO tournaments with like beginners to hear the questions that they ask all the time. And then those are things that I can then start to point out when I do more PLO commentary, because I like, I think about these things, I've been thinking about them for so long that to me, they're just like second nature as like, oh, obviously, but to other people, they're things that aren't necessarily as obvious. So pointing out those things to those people to help them learn a little bit more would probably be a pretty good way to kind of take with some of the more beginner PLO tournament questions that people have out there. So if you guys have any questions in terms of strategy or board or anything like that, feel free to put them out there. So me and Joe are here to talk about some things, talk about the action. Yeah.
Terror with all of the draws now. 2 pair for Yuso got pwned.
So we've seen him play pretty tight so far, Joe. I mean, he's got, pretty strong hand. He does check raise it. Now Terra's in a tough spot. Opening a straight draw with a flush draw. He knows this guy's been playing pretty snug.
Yeah. This feels like this is such a tough spot. I have no idea. This feels like a lot of outs that are probably all live. Maybe not your clubs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this guy has a higher flush draw combo to go with whatever his hand is.
It feels a lot like really 2 pair, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 2 pair, a straight, maybe.
There's a million chips to make the call, half your stack. I don't blame Terror at all for getting away from that. That's a lot. It's a lot of outs, but a lot of chips. I don't know how it breaks down pot odds wise.
Yeah, it's a real interesting hand because his flush draw just might not be live against this guy. His flush draw might be dominated against, he might think that Yuso got pwned is only check raising there with a extremely strong, like top pair, nut flush draw, 2 pair, nut flush draw type hand. So if he knew that, hey, this guy doesn't have a flush draw, you might go ahead and call there because then he is getting the right odds. But if your flush draw is dominated, then, it's not a good situation, not a good spot to be in. And now kind of wait, maybe find a better spot too. So yeah, it's close either way. Nico Blast said we saw the math and it was a good fold. Bam! There we go, Nico. Nico knows. Shout out to my man
Nico. Pair of 7s for Rue.
Trip deuces for exclusive.
This is going to be the last hand of this session. Going to take a break again.
Perfect.
After this pot gets shipped to
We'll go
Noah
stretch up, use the
Bogan.
bathroom then.
And we are headed back over to event number 64 high. The Sunday High Roller Special Edition, a 5K Turbo, I believe it was. At least when I was watching yesterday, Spraggy had it labeled as a Turbo. Spraggy finished 12th in this event. We're down to the final 5 here. Patrick Leonard, who is now in strong contention for Player of the Series, raising this button, getting 3-bet from Arthur. We've got some disconnect problems.
Another 15K
Back.
bounty up for grabs here, Joe.
The one we just saw awarded to him about a half hour ago, and decides to just flat. This could be major, major problems for Arthur, whose flop top pair did not get re-raised, and puts out a cautious quarter pot bet.
This is going to be a big hand here, isn't it?
Club on the turn. I feel like Arthur maybe slows down now. Yep, there's the check. Patrick may want to put in another bet before an action killer or hand ruining club hits the river. 640,000. So still small relative to the size of the pot. Does want to get some value out of this top pair, top kicker. Maybe figures if Arthur had a club, would have continued betting. Might not be that interested in giving a bad price. A 4 on the river.
Whew.
Doesn't.
It's going to be
change a thing.
interesting hand right here.
Arthur checks a second street in a row. Patrick Leonard,
Pat's
one of those
going to pray
few
this guy has
players
what?
that's
Yeah.
exactly what he's got, I think.
Maybe pocket kings, pocket queens, maybe ace queen, ace 8. Hopefully not ace 4, ace 7, 8. Right? Hopefully not.
And just puts it all in. Arthur not just calling for chips, but calling it off for their tournament life and a $15,000 bounty. Arthur Martiro is the most recent EPT winner with a decision for his tournament life. This would be a hero call gone wrong. Either way this goes, how great did Patrick Leonard play this hand?
Yeah, played it well. Got lucky. Hit a good flop. And now he's going to go for it all on the river. Hope to get called. 3.2 million chips behind. $15,000 bounty goes his way. Knocks out somebody. Ladders up a little bit. I mean, this is a spectacular situation to find himself in.
Deep in the tank. Consulting that alien symbiote. The venom inside saying, call, call.
Yeah, call. Hope your opponent has some type of misdraw, maybe like a king 10, king queen, queen 10. What do you guys think he's going to do, chat?
So much this time bank. Yeah, weigh in, chat. What do you think? Do you think Arthur's going to call or fold? Not what he should do. We all can see the whole cards, okay? What do you think he's going to do?
I think he's going to call, Joe.
When people think this long, they tend to fold. No, that is a hero call gone wrong.
Wow.
Arthur does make the call and is eliminated in 5th place. Another $15,000 and more leaderboard points for Patrick Leonard. Back to today's feature presentation. 4 players remain and 1 brand new commentator. Well, he's not new, but he is the best. James Hardigan, welcome back.
Thank you very much. I was told that even though Joe was meant to be on a break right now, Joe has to hang around so that Joe can take a short break. And then when Joe comes back from his short break, Joe can then take his scheduled break. Follow me? Good. Here we go.
And Joe is second to none. And Joe has no business being here.
So 4-handed, and already we've got action. Terra opening on the button. You so got pwned, re-raising. Ace King suited, Jack 7.
I've done an hour of commentary with Poppy now. I'm an expert, an Omaha expert at this point, you could say. Like, I know almost exactly who's ahead here.
Well, I think it's fair to say that this flop has definitely favored You So Got Pwned, who takes it down uncontested.
Easy for you to say.
And still relatively shallow, although a bit more play in this now. Obviously, at the start of the previous session, we were still 7-handed. We had some super short stacks and no real surprise to see players go in 7th, 6th, and 5th relatively quickly. But now this 4-handed dynamic, it's been this way for a while.
Pair of aces for exclusive. Flush draw. Gut shot for Rue.
I'm feeling one of those too. It's going to be the offsuit queen rather than the heart, right?
Wow, that's a strong prediction. Honestly, James, that's how it's been going most of the time. Folks are just kind of folding in these spots.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anyone really chasing super hard.
But Joe, you brought that up during the first hour. I mean, I think we played pretty much 30 minutes with a few all-ins and double-ups, but aside from that, no showdowns. It was rare that we would get to a river.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a ton of experience. You know, I've called a fair bit of Omaha at this point, but you know, doing heads up cash game Omaha is different than Omaha tournaments. So I've definitely been surprised at some of these folds, but I shouldn't be. I should know that whatever these guys are doing is probably correct. Looks like we just have a pair of deuces. Jeez. I mean, you can really use the name "You So Got Pwned" if you show down a pair of deuces and it's the winner.
How
Three
about
deuces
trip
a little
deuces?
stronger. A little less pwnage. But if you can get a value bet here, which seems incredibly unlikely, I think it works. I think you can still got so pwned.
$100,000. You got so pwned.
And hero call with ace king high in Omaha. Amazing.
Good news, Joe. You can now take your break because Joe is back from his break. So we will see Mr. Stapleton in a short while as Joey Ingram rejoins me, James Hartigan, at this 4-handed final table in the 5K PLO 6 max high roller, playing to a winner tonight, a winner who's going to get more than 150K and, of course, a scoop high title.
It kind of breaks my brain going from Hold'em to PLO tournaments. Like I was trying to like, oh, okay, what does the guy have here? Okay, it's such a different kind of, I don't know. How do you fare with this, James? Because you're doing a lot of Hold'em, and how do you kind of fare with switching over to Pop and Omaha doing this?
I mean, it's look, I have very little experience either playing or commenting on Pot Limit Omaha. I enjoy the variety. I agree with you. Switching games like that, it's not like a mixed game rotation like Horse or 8 game where, okay, now you're in the zone for a few orbits. Now you're in the zone for a different game. It's like, now here's some Hold'em. And what I think makes it even more stand like a sore thumb is that other event is a PKO as well. So in addition to switching from Omaha to Hold'em, you have to factor in the whole bounty element as well.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a really interesting format. I don't know. I mean, I've heard about it, right? I just haven't played any of the PKO formats anywhere before. So
right,
I see why they're so popular. It makes sense because people always talk about, like, some people love them, some people don't like them, but you can get like a $15,000 bounty. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool, right? Like, I don't know. I think that makes it a lot more fun.
I mean, clearly it's the popular format for Hold'em MTTs right now. I'm just very keen that we don't get to a point where every single major MTT becomes a PKO. I think if we can still preserve, especially the freeze out as a format, then I don't mind.
Well, I think you have some influence in that. So what do you think? How do you think the tournament schedule will look like in the future?
I have minor influence in what gets streamed, and that's as far as it goes. In all seriousness, I don't think there is any desire, especially when it comes to something like WCOOP or Scoop, for there to be uniformity. I mean, the great thing about these series is you do get to showcase other games. I mean, what did we have the other night? 5-card PLO, PKO. We had No Limit Omaha 8 or better. There's 8 game, there's Horse, there's Deuce to 7 single draw, Deuce to 7 triple draw. Every format's covered.
So you said there was a PLO 5-card PKO, just like we saw before?
Correct. So imagine what we just saw,
okay. All right.
only it's PLO, 5-card PLO, 6 max.
Well, that's like a completely different game because you're going to be all these hands we're seeing people fold right now. They might start calling a lot of those hands too. So there might be interesting. Yeah. Have you guys tried any of the PLO PKO tournaments?
I've never played a Hold'em PKO, let alone Pot Limit Omaha PKO.
So does PokerStars offer that as for Scoop? Did you guys run a PKO PLO event during Scoop?
Yep, that was a Scoop event I was referring to. I mean, obviously you're in a situation, Joey, where you don't get to play a lot of stars because you spend most of your time in the United States of America. I don't get to play a lot on stars. In fact, I don't get to play on stars at all because I work for the company. So we're kind of both in the same boat, that we just have to watch these games without actually experiencing them.
Yeah, there's some poker sites in America you can play, but they're I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think WSOP has anything like that here in Nevada, so big flop here for Rue.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be it.
Terra with a draw.
Yeah, Terra has second pair, gut shot. Yeah, he goes with it.
Oh.
Not good. He's going to need a 10. He's going to need a 10, James.
River. Nope, trip 9's not good enough. The full house for Rue, and we get another KO. That's the elimination of Terra 7-7-7-2-7, because it's always coming 7. Our 4th place finisher in this 5K PLO event, cashing out for $71,500. And Rue 400 holding on to and building that chip lead right now.
These freaking tournaments, Joe. I'm telling you, or James, I'm telling you, man. You just pick up kings, flop top set, stack the guy. I mean, I don't know. These tournaments to me are so weird to get my head across because like you play them for 3 hours and then you get that. The guy, Terra goes in with the 9 in the gutter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird game. Really, these tournaments are real strange. I'm still getting used to them.
This is an interesting spot, right? The trip 10s for Bokum plus the queen high flush draw up against the nut flush draw.
Yeah, Pone decides not to bet the turn with that hand. Tries to improve on the river. He doesn't. Still has some showdown, though, with the 9s. I mean, you can beat king, queen. You can beat king high flush draw that missed, but... Yeah, Noah went with the prayer bet, hoping to pray to get called, and did not work out for him with that straight. Yes, we are three-handed. First place, 157,000. Next place is 93,000. So nice big, wow, yeah. What is that, $60,000 pay jump there or something like that? What's the pay jump here? Yeah.
Not insignificant.
Yeah.
And, you know, for you so got pwned, the hope that these two get in some ridiculously unnecessary clash/confrontation and pwned can ladder to heads up. I mean, I guess now we're shorthanded. Hopefully they can open up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know, but this guy you got so pwned's kind of put on. This guy's been kind of impressive. For I mean, he's played pretty tight in a lot of spots, but this is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning, where there's going to be one of these guys just looking to hang on. One of them's going to keep laddering up, doubling up, playing tight, and then he's going to end up third place. And now you got a reasonable shot at winning that $157,000. And now you say, what's the takeaway? And the takeaway might be that, maybe you should be playing a little bit tighter in some of these and you got to run better. He got aces and kings a lot as well, too. So that certainly helped him out. And now Exclusive is going to turn this into a bluff, I believe. He's got jacks. He has a 5 blocker. I mean, I think this is a bluff, yeah.
Well, 6s and 3s for Rue.
Blocks the 4-5. Blocks 5-7. So Rue is thinking about making a hero call. 2 pair, 3s and 6. He doesn't have the pocket kings. He has 3-6 in his hand. Has 2 pair. He's got to be thinking, what would this guy bluff me with? And yeah, he does lay it down.
And drawing even with Rue now. Noah Bokan up to 5.3 million. Rue still chip leader with 5.7 million. Queens versus aces here.
I don't want to be results oriented and say that was a great bluff because he folded, but I mean, that was an interesting bluff for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to think about that hand a lot more. That was a real interesting hand. Now we're going to see Noah limp call. Flops the 6, 2 backdoor flush draws, gut shot, 2 bad straight, overpair as well too.
Well, it was practically a coin flip on the flop. Now Rue 3-1 favorite.
Noah's going to bet the turn. Not a good flop for aces, especially limp calling, losing to the 4-7s. I mean, 7-8, deuce 4. Pretty good river there for Roof. Rivers trips. Now he's definitely going to go for some value. Noah might think his queens are good. He can beat a missed flush draw. He could beat some hands, maybe like 3-4. Now Rue's going to think what size to go with. Goes half pot.
So the previous hand, we saw Noah make that bluff on the river, the fold from Rue. Very next hand, Rue makes the value bet on the river. Noah folds. And now we see Rue back up to 6.5 million chip leader at this 3-handed final table. And aces again.
This guy's got aces about 100 times here. But no action.
That one was raise and take it.
Yeah, Stalking. Yeah, Stalking Geek said pwned as well. Ladder to 90K plus payout was at 400 to 500K, wasn't he? Yeah, he was real short stacked here when he came into this.
Well, you so got pwned going for their first scoop title. I've had some deep runs in Spring Championship of Online Poker events, yet to win a scoop. Rue 400 has 2 scoop titles to their name, and Noah Exclusive Bokan is a double scoop winner, going for his 3rd in this event.
The 3rd in the 5K PLO 6 max? Yeah, is that right?
Sorry,
Did you say he's got a third title in this event specifically?
this
specific 5K
if he wins this, this would be his third.
In the 5K PLO 6-max?
If he wins this,
Or in,
this event will be his third scoop. His other two, in case you're interested where they come from, there was a PLO heads-up event in 2013, which he won. It was a 2K buy-in, and his second title was last year when he won the 8 game.
Okay. I thought you said this guy won this 2 in a row before this. I was like, man, that's pretty nice task to be able to take down this event twice before and be at the final table here for a third time. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of limping in the small blind so far from most of these players. No one's really gone with at least at this stack size. Maybe if they get shorter stack, then they'll start raising from the small blind. But right now we're seeing a very, sort of, say like it's been a nice game so far. I feel like we've seen a lot of action, a lot of hands. Some of these times, some of these final tables can be really slow, and especially when I've done live commentary online, this is moving quite quickly.
Right.
This is real nice because we're not, there's no boom, boom, hands over, next hand. So I really like the speed and I like the pace that we're seeing here. So Rue has the flush, king high, bets out. Pwned, just top pair. Can't really do much about that. Has to lay it down. He's going to want to have at least 2 pair there to continue. Probably like a top 2 pair. Maybe if a straight, he's probably not going to lay down. And then obviously a flush. You're thinking about what hands do you want to call there. This is a beautiful hand, and he just calls. Ace, king, jack, 10 double suited, just calling from the small blind.
And we have got a family pot in our hands.
Yeah, and a little bit of something for everybody here. Pwned has 2 backdoor flush draws and a gut shot to the nut straight. Noah has the blockers with those pocket 8, so he blocks the 6-8, which is going to be the best straight. And now you got some Pwned could check call here 1. I mean, I would check call here 1, but we've kind of been seeing him play real tight, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does fold, and he does indeed fold.
Now Boken with 8 again, but gives Rue a walk.
Yeah, these 3 all have different styles. It's kind of nice to watch the contrast between Rue, who seems to be more willing to maybe make some plays and get out of line a little bit, and Pwned has definitely been more on the tighter side, and then Exclusive has been more on the, I'm willing to do some real wild stuff here. So
there we go, just flopping straights.
straight. Yeah. Nut straight for Noah. Middle pair, backdoor flush draw, and a gutter as well for Rue.
Rue drawing very thin now.
Yeah, Rue's going to need a jack on the river to try to chop the pot. Never good when your only out is to chop the pot, but he checks back. Now Noah's going to decide how much to bet for value, and he goes pretty small, hoping to get called by maybe like a king 8, maybe 10-8, some type of weak top pair, and then those 2 pairs.
Hello to Yeppy, who said, last time I was here, Joe Stapleton was talking about kissing his sister. Hopefully no more of that. Do you know what? I have a vague recollection of that being discussed. I can't remember the context. I'm sure that I hope there was some legitimate framing for it, but nope, no more incest. We've got 9s and 8s, 10s and 6s, and it's a 9-high flop.
Did he post like a photo of him kissing his sister, or was it just telling you about it?
He doesn't even have a sister.
I don't know. Maybe he does have a sister. I don't know. He's bringing it up. This is interesting here. Noah has overpair and a gutter, 2 backdoor quad draws. Rue, top set. This is a monster hand for Rue. This is like one of the best flops I've ever seen anybody could ever have. 9, 9, 8, 8. And he gets check raised. No way. Oh my gosh. This is the most dream scenario you could ever ask for in the great game of Pot Omaha right here. So Noah, 10-10-6-6, backdoor spade draw, gut shot. And now Rue's just got to be, he's got to be saying, what does this guy have? Does he have a set of sevens? Does he have a set of threes? Like, I've got the eights. I blocked the 8-10, which would be like a straight draw you would check raise with. He min re-raises. Okay. Now Noah, he's got to be confused what this guy has, because he has the 10-8, the 6-8, 10, that kind of hand. He blocks that hand with the 10-10-6-6, so he might think about just calling here. I mean, he might think about anything here, laying it down. Re-raise it. I hope he doesn't re-raise.
I think this will probably be a fold.
Yeah, I think so too, James. He's probably just really confused what's going on. Like, what does this guy really have top set? He would just min raising a top set.
By the way, I've just been told it wasn't Joe, it was Sam Grafton. Grafton was reliving when he did commentary for a Sky Poker event. There we go, the fold from Noah there. And he made that comment. I think he said like a chop pot is like kissing your sister, and they stopped the recording and made him redo the line because they felt it was inappropriate. What I love is that everyone thought it was Joe. That's the natural instinct, is that has to be a Stapleton line. No, it was Grafton.
And they made him redo the line, huh?
Yeah, I think it's probably not ideal to make that simile.
Are you sure Joe didn't say this? You positive? I mean, I don't know. It sounds
definitely not Joe.
Okay.
All I will say is
now Rue's going to look to stack this guy. Yeah. Yeah.
Before Sam Grafton did do the commentary on those TV shows, he did ask Joe Stapleton for tips in advance. So, in a way, maybe you could blame Joe Stapleton.
Mm-hmm. Now, Rue here called a 3-bet, has the overcards, overpairs here, has the backdoor flush draw. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, yeah, this is one of those things that seems more like a fold than a call. Right, 21% equity there. Yeah, you're going to need better than that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see if Rue did put it in there. But yeah, it seems like a hand that you might look at that and say, well, how do you fold? But when the tight player rears, you most likely he's got overpair there. You know, maybe at worst, you guys got like a strong rundown that still has a lot of equity against your hand. So that's not a good spot to be in. So Sam wasn't kissing his sister too. It was just Joe that was kissing his sister, right?
No one was actually kissing anyone's sister, just to be clear. Sam Grafton said that chopping a pot feels a bit like kissing your sister. It was a joke.
Okay, I just want to make okay. This Twitch chat, I don't know. They take it seriously sometimes. We got to make it clear to these guys.
Yeah.
Have you had? What are you thinking about your time on Twitch? Talking with Twitch every day here.
Oh, I mean, it's like nice having the companionship and the company. In all seriousness, it's been one of, normally we have this relationship with the audience when we're at a live event. For the last 12 months, there haven't been any live events. What's been awesome with all the stuff we've been able to do with the online series and all the other content we've produced is have that kind of regular hangout, if you like. It's been a great way of sort of being in a social situation whilst also being distanced.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I noticed that from my stream as well. I had that same feeling, like, you're sort of bonding with the people that you're hanging out with every day for a certain period of time. And, especially if you're home during lockdown and not doing much, like, I think that's a real thing and a real great thing too. So I agree. Looks like Noah here just limp called with the nice double suited queens. Not a good flop for him. Has to just let that one go. You got so pwned, still hanging around 3 million chips. Noah, 4.2 million chips. What's the state of yourself like over there? Are you allowed to go outside, or what's kind of what's going on?
Yeah, I mean the the third lockdown that we had in the United Kingdom is now slowly easing over time. From last Monday, or what they refer to as non-essential shops reopened. Some restaurants and bars have now been allowed to reopen. I think hotels can reopen from next month. It's a slow restoration to some sense of normality. Understandably, mask use and social distancing still firmly encouraged. The good news, and one of the few things that we've got right over here, is the vaccination rollout program has gone very well. It's been done by age groups, started with the most vulnerable, with the most elderly people. Now they've reached my age group, so the over 45s are currently being jabbed. So I had my first vaccination last week. By the summer, I think we should be in a position where we might even be at the stage where people are getting their first booster shot. So having had the 2 doses, they can then have their top up. So that's a good situation to be in.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're pretty optimistic, and the overall morale is pretty optimistic as well. Then that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think, everyone is just keeping their fingers crossed, right, that this is the last one. That now, with the vaccination rollout, with people hopefully behaving sensibly and not kind of going too full on in these next few weeks, that we can avoid another quarantine, another lockdown. The great fear, of course, are these new strains of the virus that are being discovered. For example, the strain that was first identified in South Africa. And when they arrive on your shores and they start spreading and you realize that the vaccine has less efficacy against those strains, the concern there is now you have to go into lockdown again. And, that's why I think cautiously optimistic is how I describe my mood right now.
Yeah, that sounds intense, brother. Hope you take care of yourself over there. Looks like here you got Sopone just called the small blind. Yeah. You got Sopone just called the small blind. Ace 10, Jack 9. Rivers 3 pair. Rue has that 2 pair as well. So Rue might decide to value bet here with that Ace 9. He's got to be thinking he's got the best hand. I mean, if one of these guys has a 4-5, they're probably going to lead the turn or the river if they didn't lead the turn. So he has to like his hand. Maybe he's wondering what he might get called by if he does bet here, but I think his hand's a little bit too strong to do anything else but bet. And then you got Sopone, obviously easy call by him. He might think about actually check raising here, because you got to think, well, would Rue really check back 4-5 twice? But he does just check call. So you got Sopone just like that, up to 3.5599, and he's second in chips. So you got Sopone.
Yeah.
Putting on quite the show here to get up back up to this position.
And I think what I find interesting watching this, Joey, and again, to go back to your point of the difference between cash Omaha versus tournament Omaha, is that Omaha has that reputation as being a bit of a gambling game, right? And in cash games, you do see people really going for it, especially with their draws. And here, the play is like supremely cagey, and the thought, you can almost hear the cogs in their brain turning every time you see that time bar ticking down. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a great way to put it, right? When the time bar does start ticking down, it's just you kind of like, it's these spots in PLO, you just don't play them very often because you don't play many PLO tournaments. So you have like some strong intuitions oftentimes in what to do, but you just don't really have that study and research and confidence to back up your decision that you're going to make. So that's why sometimes in situations like that, you're like, what am I going to do? And it seems like in that situation, what I always prescribe people is to play tighter. So when I'm teaching people how to play Pot in Omaha, I'm saying, hey, if you're unsure, oftentimes I'd go with folding and then try to figure out, what was the right situation there to do. So I don't hate kind of seeing that style. And from what we're seeing with the Pot Omaha tournament study, with how ICM works, like they're advocating for real tight strategies because the equities run so close pre-flop with these hands. So it's like, it's going to be interesting to see how the strategy develops. I don't know if it'll get more loose though, right? As we see a 4-bet here from Noah with Ace King Jack 8.
And Rue will let this one go. For Boas's benefit and anyone else who's never seen him before, RoboCup is in the arena tonight.
Oh,
thank you for your cooperation. Good night. Filled with Earl Grey tea, decaffeinated, of course. If I have
Are you
caffeine at this
into
time of night,
collectibles?
I'm at sleep. I do have some random stuff lying around my house. That's how I like to call it. There is no one thing.
Yeah, Rue's crazy here.
Wow, this is pretty awesome for Rue, right? Bottom set, flush draw.
Rue raised the limp and flopped bottom set and a flush draw. Yeah, this is, I mean, queen deuce, deuce five, this is a very bad hand, but here it's not as bad. Double gutter for Noah. He needs an 8 or a 3 to make a straight. The spade wouldn't be good. Probably not a very good hand to want to continue with here. And when you do hit your 8, you don't have that nut straight. And then if it's you don't have a nut straight. And if it's a spade, you lose to a flush. So just lays it down. The Nightbot said PokerStars has opportunities. What kind of opportunities do you guys have at PokerStars these days?
I haven't clicked on the link. I already have a job with the company, so I don't tend to look at what job opportunities there are with the company.
Bro, I just thought I thought you were hiring people and at the job and stuff. I don't know. That's what I thought.
I mean, you seem to think that I have the power to change tournament schedules and hire people. So, I mean, quite frankly, I should, but I don't.
That's what I was going with, Poppy. I'm like, oh, James is the man. He's like in charge. He's doing this, he's doing that. He's doing a lot of things, but but y'all got a lot of people, man. Every time I work with PokerStars, there's always, the Justina, and then it goes here, it goes there, it goes here. I love it. It's you guys got a real good.
We bring out the whole team for these online series. We, same people who bring you the live events coverage from the EPT and from the Bahamas every year. Normal years, 2020 is the exception.
This "you got so pwn" style is real intriguing to me right now because it's just he does a lot of different things. Now we're about 25 big blinds, so I think a lot of players would just start raising here as a standard. He's choosing to limp this hand, very strong hand, and now Rue's going to raise it up. Ace, king, queen, 7 with that nut suit. Also, when you got so pwn limps the button, most likely you take it to be a pretty weak hand or a weak-ish hand, maybe. I don't know what classification of a weak hand might be in a tournament that Rue might be thinking he might have. Maybe 10, 8, 6, 7, something like that. Maybe something around that. Kai Gordy has a great content suggestion. If anyone out there is listening at PokerStars, is someone making a documentary about the pandemic events?
I'm sure that there are going to be far too many documentaries about the year 2020.
Yeah, right. I mean,
specifically about the pandemic from 2019 to, let's hope, 2021. Let's hope it doesn't spill into next year as well.
I would actually watch that about poker sites, like how they change, like PokerStars specifically, because you guys were doing a ton of live events.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
is that what Carl's mentioning? Is he implying that we should have like a documentary about how we do the live streams from these online events? Sorry, I thought Carl wanted a documentary about the pandemic.
No, he said for PokerStars, maybe PokerStars did something where they document, they go over, what happened with their events or something like that. I think that's what he was saying.
I don't want anyone seeing behind the scenes. It's the classic, no one needs to know how sausages are made.
That's the anti-poker strategy. Everyone in all the poker players just choose to make training sites and coach and teach as many people as they can for free on all these platforms. So they use like a different way of thinking about it, I think. So let's see here. Rue
flush draw.
Rue just called with the pocket kings in the small blind. Kind of weird because we saw him 3-bet a much weaker hand earlier, and he just calls with the pocket kings. He's going to lead the turn. Does have the overpair. Has a 7 and a 10. Noah misses his flush draw. Improves to a pair of 6s, but not a very strong hand. Now Rue might be thinking about turning his hand.
And one thing we're now seeing is Rue 400 move further and further ahead, and Noah actually drawing level with You So Got Pwned.
This guy, You Got So Pwned's got aces a lot, man. This is a... Yeah, ace, queen, 6-4. Not a very good hand to continue with a 3-bet. Good hand to raise. Does have an ace and a queen in it. So you're going to block that from your opponent's ranges pre-flop.
Okay, we got some nice straighty combos here. And of course, it's a completely boring flop.
Yeah, you got Rue's going to take, or Rue got you's going to take this one down if he chooses to make a bet. Flops backdoor straight draw. A couple backdoor straight draws. 4, 6, 5, 6, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, a lot of interesting turn cards give him a straight draw. Noah also flops 2 backdoor straight draws, but he doesn't out of position, doesn't have the initiative, can't continue. Kind of like it when you can't see the cards sometimes too, doing some of this poker commentary.
Yeah.
Have you done many of those without cards?
I mean, from the first near enough 10 years that we live streamed EPTs, they were live. So it was all cards down. And okay, from like 2012 onwards, we started doing final tables cards up, but it wasn't until 2018 that we did cards up every day. So we did hours of cards down coverage.
So which one do you like better doing? Do you like the whole cards down better than the whole cards up?
I think in the grand scheme of, I think there is a value to doing cards down, but overall, I think cards up is a much better viewing experience, and I think you're obviously going to reach a much bigger audience. I think it's quite a niche. I mean, look, poker's a niche activity anyway. You make it cards down, it becomes even more niche. I'm intrigued to see, by the way, how this hand is going to play out.
Mm-hmm. Great turn card for Rue. Rue turns the nut straight. Noah has 2 queens in his hand, so he blocks that queen 9. He also has a jack and a 7 in his hand, so he blocks the 7-9, which would be the second best straight. And this is going to get real dicey here on this river, because I think Noah might decide to turn his hand into a bluff at this point in time. And he does. He goes bets 840. Now Rue's thinking, do I call or do I raise all in?
Wow.
So now Rue has queen 9, has the second best straight right now. Nuts on the turn. Only loses to ace queen. Looks like he's, I mean, I don't think this guy's thinking about folding. Oh, yeah, he's raising. Okay. So Rue does raise.
And Rue has just moved over the 10 million mark. Meanwhile, Noah has just dropped down to 10 big blinds.
This is not looking good for Noah. Noah came in as our chip leader, and he was kind of running the show to begin with, playing really aggressive. And, you know, we've kind of seen his name pop up during this scoop, and we thought maybe he'd be able to take this one down. And now he's going to need some help here. You Got So Pwned has he's an open straight draw, backdoor flush draw, and an overpair. I don't think he's going to lay this one down, but this guy is a real tight player. Noah has top 2 pair with the backdoor king high flush draw. Ooh. Wow. 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 This is going to be all in. King on the river. Wow. Noah.
Double up for Noah Bokan. And now it's You So Got Pwned who's short and has dropped below the 10 big blind mark.
Wow. You Got So Pwned played like a master so far this tournament, man. I just really been enjoying his play. Looked like he was about to be in heads up position, go for the scoop title. and gets hit with the offsuit king on the river, unfortunately for him. And now Noah right back in the mix. Got to be feeling good about that. You got so-pwned, has to keep his composure, but the guy's only got 8 big blinds. Joe, you might say that he got so-pwned on that river, the offsuit king in that hand. So unfortunately for him, it's he's going to need some help here now. He's got to regroup. You got to regroup. But you got to take a couple deep breaths, right? Don't lose composure. You're still alive. You still got some big blinds. But yeah, that was a pretty sick hand.
Quick update on the $5,000 buy-in progressive knockout event, the No Limit Hold'em event that we dropped in on during the break. They are now down to 3 players. Darius Sammartino, secret mode, just busted in 4th, cashing out for 72K. So now it is Hello Totty, Pads, and Giraffe Ganger in the final 3 of that event.
Oh, that's pretty crazy for Pads, huh? Pat just took a scoop down. So this would be his second scoop in 2 days?
Yeah, I think it was it Saturday night? I think that Patrick Leonard won, or was it last night? Certainly his second title in 48 hours, if not 24 hours. And yeah, he now has 4 titles in total. So this would be his 5th overall.
Hmm. Yeah, not bad at all. That's pretty good by him, man. I mean, I know he's been, working pretty hard for a long time. So kind of cool to see him kind of take these things down. And I know he's trying to establish himself more as an ambassador in poker. So anytime you take down big titles like that, it's a pretty cool opportunity. Draft Ganger as well, too. I like him a lot. And yeah, pretty nice to see those two. You said Dario was eliminated in 4th place?
Yep. Sammartino out in 4th.
Okay. Oh my Toto says, any chance you'll have Giraffe on your pod once? I'll have him on my podcast one time, but I've kind of been taking a break for a while from my podcast and working on other things. And this could be an all-in pot here. 20 big blinds. Let's see if he decides to limp re-raise. He does just limp call. $9-5-4 overpair for Noah and a backdoor flush draw. Gut shot straight draw for Rue. Checks it back. Interesting turn. Rue turns top pair, top kicker. Both players probably not loving their hands right now. See if Rue decides to bet here. Noah, I mean, gut shot. Overpair. Probably going to continue facing a bet, but he does check it back. Anticlimactic here. River 2 pair for Rue, but flush gets there, straight gets there. Not much really going to happen.
So Noah hovering around the 30 million mark.
Ouch. So Rue taking this ace king 10-6. I see what he's thinking here. He's got ace king in his hand. He's just saying, hey, this guy's playing every hand, raising a lot of buttons. I'm going to re-raise. He's going to fold. But unfortunately, he ran into, top of Noah's range here with ace, jack 5. Noah hits him with the 4-bet. Roe's got to take it down. Fight to see another day, brother. Fight to see another day with that pig avatar, with that beanie on his head and black eye.
Did we ever find out the genesis of that? I know that you were offering, you were trying to bribe the audience into identifying the source of it, but I don't know if anyone did anything other than describe what the picture was, which wasn't really what you were asking for.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, and I didn't say that, but you're right. That's exactly. I was looking for hey, it's this, not like it's
from
a pig
such and such. Yeah.
All in. You got so pwned.
Makes the flush on the turn, and you go pwned, go doubles up to $1 million.
So he's back in the mix, still alive, brother, still alive. Ace jack 4-3 double suited. This is how the run begins. You got so pwned. Is he gonna go with this one? Yeah, I can see what you're thinking about. He does lay it down. Nice flop here for both players. Top pair, nut flush draw. For exclusive, Rue's got top pair as well. Backdoor flush draw with that king queen. That king 7 of diamonds in his hand. He's going to check it back. Turns to 6. Now Noah blocks the straight with the 5. And he's going to lead. Rue's got kind of a dicey spot. If he does call this turn, there's going to be a lot of real bad rivers for him. So he might think about laying it down right now. But he does call, and river is the flush. Yeah.
Any chance this gets called by kings and jacks?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that myself. I mean, maybe the guy could be bluffing a hand like a 5-6, something like that. But, you know, maybe he's got one club blocker. But yeah, I can understand making the laydown there. So Noah battling back a little bit, 120,000 blinds. So we got, what do we got here? 24, 48. Yeah, Noah's still pretty deep over there. He's got about 30 some big blinds. And then you got Sopone on that ultra short stack with under 10.
Meanwhile, it seems that there has been some intense Googling going on and no one has been able to identify the source of the pig. Victor has a theory. Maybe it's just a Windows paint drawing that he made himself.
You know what, Victor? I'm going to give you a subscription because I believe that to be the right answer, too. Here we go. All in. Aces versus ace, queen, 9, deuce.
And it's the heart flush.
Huh. Another double up there for you got Sopone. That was very, I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, he had less than 10 big blinds. I was just kind of confused about the hand, but you know, it does make sense with that short stack, and you are going to see a lot of those situations in this game. So, yeah, Victor, congratulations. I tipped you my 10th sub for the stream. Don't spend it all in one place. And what do they get if they're a sub? Do they get like special? Do they get to throw things? What do they get? Yeah,
they get special emotes. I think my face might be one of them. I'm so sorry.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
You also get the 7. You get the flaming Barry.
Spam it. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see what we got here. Oh, baby, this Barry one's good. Look at that sick river right here. Wow, better straight for Noah. So Noah, rivers to nuts. Rue has 2 8s in his hand. He's got to be pretty poker hard right now on this river. Calls that turn. All the flush misses. He makes a straight. Noah's going to bet half pot. And now Rue's going to decide, do I want to raise this hand for value? And if he does, that's going to be a terrible mistake because Noah is sitting there with the 8-jack in his hand.
Makes the call.
Hey.
Noah's back up to 5 million.
Yeah, that feels real terrible when you turn the nuts, right? You got the nuts in your hand, 2 flush draws, kind of play it cool. River comes down, your hand's not counterfeited by those draws, but yeah, that's really unlucky there for Rue. Rue back at it, 4, 3, 3, 10. Double suit on the button, not a very good hand. Noah flops another flush. It's not a good flush though, so you know you don't want to get overzealous with having an 8 high flush, even though you're 3-handed and the ranges are going to be a little bit wider. It's not like you're going to be check raising here and trying to pile all the money in that you can.
Another board pairs, which is also a great situation.
Yeah, once Rue gets check called, I mean, most likely this guy's going to have a flush. Could have some hands like 2 pairs, king 5, jack 5. You know, maybe some kings as well. Ace king at worst. King queen. Maybe 1 club, yeah. See what Rue decides to do. Rue does check back. So Noah is on the comeback right now. Clawing back up. We saw him short. Getting back up to chip lead.
At one point, was hovering around the 10 big blind mark. Now second in chips and closing in on the chip leader, and it's going to be exclusive versus Rue 400 again.
Yeah, these two are going back and forth. We've seen Rue willing to raise the big blind versus those small blind limps. Very, very strange hands, like with the queen jack 7 deuce, right? Like just these random kind of trashy hands, and puts the pressure on post flop. And we've kind of seen it work out pretty well for him. Oftentimes, you know, he risks 3 big blinds pre flop, and then he risks another couple of big blinds on the flop to, you know, put some pressure on your opponent, put yourself in a pretty nice EV situation on later streets. Maybe it makes some sense in these tournaments where people value their chips a little bit more. So. NFL ED says Joey's making PLO interesting with the analysis on hands. Yeah, my biggest regret is I didn't do more PLO hand videos the past like 6 years when I just did podcasts, actually, because no one loves PLO more than me. So when I talk about the game, I just make it sound like interesting because I'm pretty interested in it. So, you know, some people they may not understand it, whatever, but I try to speak with energy about it at least. So
energy, enthusiasm, and knowledge. Those are a good 3 things to have.
Yeah, I've been studying this heads up no limit hold'em, James, and it's just such a different game. Like, man, it's so fun. But it's so different than PLO 6 max. So now when I play 6 max PLO, I'm just like, this is so boring. Get me out of this. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, because you're used to like 3-bet. It's so much action. I mean, if you watch like Doug versus Daniel, it's action. You don't have time to like calm down a little bit. So, but now when you play 6-handed, you know, it's like, you know, you're kind of falling asleep over at the wheel over here. So,
you mean I have to fold some of these hands?
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like, I'm saying, do I really got to fold? Like, I just don't want to keep folding, you know. And then you play, but
no, folding's boring.
It gets you in trouble, you lose, and you're like, but I want to win, right? And then but you got to fold, and you're like, I don't. Yeah. Patience, my friends. That's what poker's all about. So take it easy, Red Pixel. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. I'd like to thank the replay guy who did put this together and sped up some of these parts for us. I appreciate you very much for that. Yeah, you can see, James. I mean, maybe this is the strategy. If anyone limps the small blind, we automatically raise the big blind. Working out well for him, man.
I missed that the blinds have gone to 70, 140. It just got a whole lot shallower.
Yeah, this is going to be it for You Got So Pwned. He's he goes with it. Could be a really actually 6 spot. Oh my God.
We are going to have action on the side potentially.
Ace 9-9 board. Ace king for both players here. Rue is not looking pretty right now. So it's going to be a chop as played right now. Unless backdoor straight draw comes or backdoor clubs come, they're going to chop it up.
Noah bets 140k into a dry side pot. Rue 400 folds. Here we go. 10 and the jack for Broadway.
I didn't even see that.
No shot.
Wow.
And Noah Boken KOs You So Got Pwned, our 3rd place finisher for just over $93,000.
What a gross way to go out there, man. Oh my gosh. You have the same hand against your opponent, goes runner straight. You've been playing so tight. He played so well. He hung around for however many hours we've been doing this so far. And to go out like that, that hurts, man. Congratulations, You Got So Pwned.
Yeah, to accentuate the positive, Joey laddered up to 3rd place, which was nearly 100k. But now it kind of felt that this was where it was headed, right? Heads up between Noah Boken and Rue 400.
Absolutely. And we're going to see something right here. 3-bet pot, top 2 pair for Noah. But you're right, James. It seems like it's been kind of building to get to right here. These two have been playing back and forth at each other this match. Very aggressive dynamic. A lot of hands being played. You can tell Rue doesn't want to take his shit. Exclusive saying, I'm not going to take it from you. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with these two. The stack sizes. Let me take a look at our big blinds. The big blinds. How many big blinds do we have here? Okay, 140. All right, makes sense. So we're pretty deep here. Is the chat rooting for anybody? Who are you guys rooting for out there? We as the commentators must remain biased. Or no, I'm sorry, we can't have a bias right now. So, but you guys tell me, who do you want to see win? Are you rooting for Rue 400, or are you rooting for exclusive? Or are you just rooting for some hands and some action?
Both clearly talented players, and normally I'm always going to root for the perceived underdog, or I'm going to root for the person who's maybe playing for their first Scoop title. Both these guys have already got 2 scoops each, so they're both playing for their third. So it feels like a very fair fight. And we are going to break with exclusive out in front. Noah Bokan has reclaimed the chip lead. Down to 2 in the PLO. Down to 3 in the 5K Sunday High Roller Special Edition. So this is the $5,000 buy-in progressive knockout event that we showcased during the breaks. Started yesterday, concludes tonight. And look at the stacks here. Patrick Leonard, Pads, has 16 million. Hello Totti, second in chips with 5 million. Giraffe Ganger, Bert Stevens, just shy of 4 million.
Yeah, Pads looks like, I mean, this is pretty incredible right here. I kind of want to take a nice photo from my Instagram story of Pads here. Beasting it up, man. So Pads turns the straight. Toddy, second pair with the gutter.
I think our stats team might have outdone themselves with this hashtag fun fact. In Finnish origin, the meaning of the name Totti is Thorstone. A Thorstone is a standing stone over 7 feet tall in Norse folklore. I don't know if that's where this player got their online handle from, but I like that hashtag fun fact, so I thought I'd share it with you.
Let's see if we remember that in 10 minutes, James, okay?
So, hello Totti wins that one. Pads now with King Queen, small to big.
Yeah, Pat's got a little unlucky that hand.
Indeed. Yeah. Original Muffin says, but Totti is Russian. Don't bother me with details. Pads opening on the button with Jack 6. Flattered by Giraffe Ganger. Hey, Bert. I wonder how many animals Bert has added to his collection in the last few months.
So what's that guy's deal with these animals? Can you explain that to me for Giraffe?
He basically just has his own menagerie with a variety of cats, dogs, cows, goats. At one point, I believe he was looking to adopt a giraffe. Maybe he's made that happen. He likes animals.
So he doesn't have a giraffe, is what you're saying?
Last time we spoke, he did not have a giraffe, but he did confirm he was looking into it.
What if we buy him a giraffe? I'll buy him a giraffe. How much could a giraffe cost? I'll get him one.
I've no idea where you'd even start. All in here. Ace Jack against King Queen.
Oh,
Queen high
no.
flop.
Oh, wow, that's sick.
And that is the elimination of Bert, Giraffe, Ganger, Stevens. So they go heads up in this 5K progressive knockout event. Patrick Leonard versus Hello Totti. Playing for that final bounty now.
I'm going to say good luck to Pads here. Good luck, brother.
King Killer claims he can get a giraffe for 300K. I almost want to ask. I'm not going to, but I almost want to ask. I'm going to ask, where? How?
You want him to take you on the draft buying process, or what? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, where do you get it from? What's the import duty, taxes, licenses? I need the details. So we're going to head back to the final table of the PLO. This is the event we are covering this evening. This is what we've been following for the last 3 hours, and we're now entering the heads-up battle between Noah Exclusive Boken and Rue 400, the Netherlands versus Canada. And we're going to welcome Joe Stapleton back into the mix. 2 Joes for the price of 1.
And that price is still 0.
That's how generous we are.
Welcome back, Joe. How was your break?
It was wonderful. I did chores.
You cleaned up the house and vacuumed the living room. What'd you do?
Breaking down boxes is like what half of my life is folding up boxes and trying to make them fit in the recycle bin. We got two old school folks here, right? We think of Noah Boken as being old school, right? But Rue has a scoop from 2010. That's 3 years before Noah Boken won his scoop.
That is true. I guess Noah goes back a bit further than that for us because of his EPT win, which was back in 2005. Right. But yeah, I will concede these guys have been on the scene for a long time and still competitive to this day.
Rue has in the hole here. Third pair. Yeah, Rue's at third pair, opening a straight draw here. Noah with top pair, top kicker. So our heads up now, so the players are probably going to play almost every hand, I would imagine, from the button, and then most defending versus small blind, probably defending a lot of hands as well too, especially these deeper stacks.
Well, I'd say that I'm an expert.
Have any big cashes recently? Yeah.
2019, won a W Coup. And my guess is that happened before they started hiding their results.
And bear in mind, we established earlier on that Noah doesn't really play that much these days. Shows up for the big online series. Showed up for Scoop last year. Won his second Scoop title in the 8 game, and then showed up for W Coup and won not 1 but 2 W Coup trophies last year.
Here's a hashtag fun fact. Noah Boken owns a chain of smoothie stands in Amsterdam.
That is an excellent hashtag fun fact.
Like a fresh juice type of place. It's more a store than a stand. Uh-oh.
Yeah, real good hand here for Rue. King, king, ace, queen, nut suit.
It's called 4-bet Jamba Juice. Sorry.
4-bet Jamba Juice. Is that what it's called, huh? Is that what you were doing on the break? You went and wrote that joke on the break, didn't you?
No, that one just came up with, but no, I wish I put that much effort into things anymore.
So a little bit of something here. Opening a straight draw for exclusive, and he hits it on the turn. Rue's got the aces, gutter on the flop, nut flush draw, blocker on the flop. Gets led into on the turn. Yeah, he's got a 3 here, so he does block 3-4.
Ooh, yeah, that's brutal.
He does call. I'm not surprised to see him call on this river. He might actually think about calling one more time. River's a 6. He can beat missed flush draws, but Noah checks it over because Noah's probably like, what does this guy have? Just thinking this guy might have a hand like 5-6, 10-6. Might give him a chance to bluff a hand like 7-8 or a missed flush draw, potentially 2. So I don't mind that check on the river. Yep, he says very tight check by Noah. I think he was more inducing, thinking about what hands would he be able to call me with as if he had a hand for value, right? Like what a hand for value would he be able to call me with that situation. So he said, okay, maybe I think he's got more bluffs. He's going to check there. So I kind of get where he's coming from there with that idea. And maybe if the guy does have a full house, then you don't get stacked. And yeah,
it's weird how much more comfortable the chat pros are dealing with Joe Ingram than they are with us. Like you're much nicer to them. You're like, well, and I'm like, shut up, be quiet.
Oh my gosh! No, I'm
You're
nice
like treat every opinion as if it's somehow valid in some way. I got to take a lesson from Joe Ingram here. I'm like, you're.
This is how I go on Twitter.
There's a reason you're there.
So Rue's got the bottom full house here, pocket threes. Yeah, I'd probably just check call here. Hope my opponent improves somewhere on the turn. But he does check raise, and I mean, I can, make sense. You want to be check raising on here sometimes, and maybe using pocket threes is one of those hands makes sense. And now Noah might be like, this guy's full of it. He does have a, yeah, not really, but yeah. Yeah, you always got to know when you play a lot of poker. You always got to know what the chat pros are thinking. Because you play with a lot of chat pros all the time, so you got to know how to beat them, right? So you just got to sometimes
That's a really good point.
Yeah, you forget sort of what the logic of other types of players think. So I've always made it a point when I talk to anybody about poker, I'm always listening to at least how they think about it, right? Whether I don't like a lot of pros are so weird, right? They're like, oh my god, you don't know like this, you're dumb or that or whatever. Like they're so like condescending and egotistical and. That's sort of how I hear a lot of people I know speak about like the opinions of inferior poker players to them. They just like laugh. And to me, it doesn't make sense because I think there's a lot to be learned from those players personally, just how they're thinking about what they're thinking and help set up better exploits in terms of when you play against kind of players like that. That's how I've always kind of viewed that idea.
So here we had the button raise from Noah. Yeah, the 3-bet from Roof 400 and 2-pair on the flop from Noah, 10s and 5s.
This is disrespectful. This is disrespectful.
Wow.
No, Rue, he does call.
Wow.
My God, this is it, guys.
And does not improve. Oh. It's a full house for Noah Boken. He's done it. We have our winner.
Over.
Exclusive takes it down. Noah Boken wins his 3rd Spring Championship of Online Poker title in the 5K PLO 6 Max High Roller, cashing for more than $157,000. Roof 400 from Canada, the runner-up for $121K. I expected that to be a lengthy, cagey, tough heads-up battle, and in one hand, it is over. And talking of things being over, I can tell you that it's also over in event 64. We were also covering the $5,000 buy-in Sunday High Roller Special Edition, that progressive knockout event. Great news for Pads. Patrick Leonard has just won his 5th scoop, his 2nd in as many days. Took it down for $258K. That is better than $250,000 for first. Hello Tossi from Russia, the runner-up for $148,000. So some great results tonight. And Joey, some awesome analysis from you, sir. Thank you so much for being here for the great game of Omaha. Thank you for your analysis and insight. I'm talking to the guy on the end, Joe, not you. Not you. I'll come to you in a moment. Mr. Ingram, you will be back next week because we've got that 10K PLO event. Looking forward to doing some more?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm ready. I want to play some PLO tournaments right now. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching it, the different strategies. It was that last hand kind of caught up on it. It was like 10 Jack 8-5. All of a sudden, it's all in. Queens are all in. Didn't quite expect that to take place, but yeah, I had a lot of fun, guys. And yeah, man, keep up the good work for you too. It was great seeing you too, and everybody in the chat. Appreciate you all very much, man. A lot of people were tuned in. A lot of good comments, and yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you guys want to follow me, I just post sometimes on Twitter lately and Instagram, but not much content on Twitch and YouTube. These guys are going to be back. Pretty much, how much longer are you guys doing this for, man? What's the plan for your twitching?
Good question.
Right through until next Wednesday. So we got that PLO main event, that 10K PLO main event on Tuesday of next week, and then the No Limit Hold'em main event on Wednesday. But Joe, Stapleton. Tomorrow, the question is, how low can you go? Because we have got a low buy-in event, and I'm looking forward to this one because I love our Sunday Million streams on a Monday, and we get to do a Sunday Million stream on a Tuesday, a special edition with a $55 buy-in, a ridiculously huge field, meaning a prize pool of 1.4 million, started yesterday, plays down to the final table tonight, plays down from 9 to a winner tomorrow, and we will be here for it. Tuesday, April 20th at the usual time. We will see you then for day 15 of Scoop. Until then, thank you for watching from Joe Ingram, Joe Stapleton, and me, James Hartigan. It is good night from the PokerStars Arena.